I'd like to call the meeting to order and stand for the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to start the meeting with Sean Galvin to discuss multiple topics there, Sean. I'll pass it over to you.
I thought I'd stop and give you some information about Fairhaven Rescue Squad. I'm heavily involved with that, and I know you folks are working on the budgets this time of year, and this is when the per capita request and everything came out, so I wanted to give you a heads up of what they may be looking for. They are looking to bring the per capita rate to $71. I believe it was $69 last year, I think. And I wanted to give you some information about what the squad's been doing. They're running just over an average of 100 calls a month now. So the call volume is pretty steady. They are maintaining a full staff, at least 2 people on duty 24/7. People get confused sometimes, because they'll see the ambulance in Pulteney or another town. Well, there's a mutual aid agreement, and you have to support other areas just like they would come help us. So say that crew is on a call and a second emergency comes in, you may see an ambulance from another town come to town to try to help you out, just like we go there. It's a community that has to work together. There's just no way to stand alone in this field. About a third of the budget comes from the town fundings of the operating budget, approximately a third. And I find it interesting that of the bills that go out for the 911 calls and the non-emergent transfers, the squad usually gets paid about 65% of what the bill is. So if the insurance companies and everybody paid their bill, we probably wouldn't need a per capita. But I just thought that was pretty interesting. It was pretty comparable to what is lacking. And also, there's been a big push to increase the skill set of the EMTs and the staff that's working there. I don't know, a lot of people don't realize there's different levels of provider. So there's someone that can drive and help with CPR and that level. There's an EMT basic that can do a few things. Advanced EMTs can do IVs, and the higher it goes up into the paramedic and critical care paramedics, can do a lot more interventions. And there's a lot more advanced EMTs now than we've ever had. And a lot of the staff is enrolled in classes in improving that, and the overall level of care that you're likely to get out of Fairhaven Rescue has improved tremendously in the past couple of years. There's a lot of advanced EMTs in the ring. So they're doing pretty well. But anyway, I can answer any questions or try to. If I can't, I'll tell you I can't.
Okay, Chad?
Yeah, so I know Regional Ambulance Service puts out appropriations to towns and the surrounding communities, and I think we've historically been one, and it's been a smaller line item. I'm just wondering if there's opportunity for Fairhaven Rescue to go do the same with other communities to help kind of offset or drive down the per capita cost for Fairhaven residents.
We do get a per capita from the towns that we serve.
Okay.
We serve Hubbardton, West Haven, Benson, and Fairhaven.
Mm-hmm.
So we do request per capita rates from them as well. That amount, that's actually a sore spot with me. That at Regional there's some really talented staff at Regional Ambulance. There's some really good people there. And many years ago, we had almost no paramedics. Now, you very likely could get a paramedic level provider out of Fairhaven Rescue when you dial 911. So what would happen, I'm a basic EMT. So my job is to get the patient to somebody smarter than me as fast as I can. So if I pick up a patient that's in bad shape, I pick up the radio, and if there wasn't a paramedic or an advanced provider available here, I'd go, can you have a paramedic meet me? So that's what was happening a lot, was Regional would send a paramedic. I'm sure everybody's seen the 2 ambulances on the highway. That's what's happening, is there a higher level provider is meeting an ambulance. And they did that sufficient, they were providing that service quite a bit, so they ended up asking the town to help pay for a little bit. But now, we have a lot of paramedics, and I think a lot of people that vote yes to that on our ballots, they see the word ambulance and they think it's Fairhaven. A lot of people I've talked to think that is giving money to Fairhaven Ambulance, even though it says Rutland Regional Ambulance.
Other questions?
I have a question. You said advanced EMTs.
Yep.
Now, you said there's normally 2 people on 24/7. Is at least one of those always an advanced EMT?
No, it is more frequent than it has ever been, and it's very likely that's what's gonna be there. But staffing is what it is. It's potential, it's possible you could have 2 EMT basics.
I believe there's once a year you have a mailer that goes out to all the residents.
Yes.
And there's you can donate and pay for like an insurance,
Yep, they call it a subscription,
a
yes.
subscription and everything.
Yep.
What percentage of your budget is that people actually do that?
I don't know, I know it was about 10% of the population historically would do the subscription. I don't know how much of the budget, what percentage of the budget. I could find out if you want to leave me your number or contact information. I can find out and get back. It's not a tremendous amount, but it helps. And I think that does better when we put out a message that we're trying to fund something particular. It seems to be like one year we were looking to upgrade the AEDs or the cardiac monitoring. And some of the money went there. I think people are more apt to do that when they know it's going for a particular topic, particular thing.
But before we keep asking, I want to make sure the board members get a chance to ask the questions first, and then we'll get to you. Any other questions from the board? Okay, now you.
Yeah. I know that the ambulances that we have here are huge, and they're practically an operating room in some respects. Has there ever been any thought to having a smaller ambulance for less serious calls or whatever? Because I know that in Europe, a lot of the ambulances over there are more like the size of a hearse.
The last ambulance we purchased, it doesn't affect the service that's provided, the skill set, because it's a struggle, recruiting and retention. So I don't know as we would really do a good service by targeting a lower level of care, but we did, if you're talking about a cheaper ambulance, for instance, the last ambulance we purchased is a smaller unit. A lot of that is more accepting because state protocols changed. For instance, say a CPR call. Years ago, it was common to do CPR in the back of an ambulance on the way to the hospital. Now, and it's partially, I would think, because the level of care being provided at the scene is greater. There's a lot more advanced EMTs that can do more. We have a lot of paramedics, so they can do damn near everything they can do in the emergency room. So they run the protocols, and if the person wasn't going to survive, then they call med direction while they're still working, and med direction says, either to stop or to continue. So you're doing less of that type of call in the ambulance. So our last ambulance, I believe it cost about $160,000. The big ambulances that you see going down the road, they're about $250,000. It's amazing how expensive those are. But I mean, it's a good point. That's a way that we did save some money. We needed an ambulance. The ambulances were, had a couple 100,000 miles on them, and they were getting pretty old. And now we have a schedule. We hope to replace an ambulance every 3 years, because we have 3 ambulances right now. So that would make it no ambulance more than 9-10 years old. Is what the plan would be. That would be the ideal thing.
Just a question on, you said you do approximately 100 calls per month?
Yep.
Is that 100 calls for Fairhaven, or 100 calls total? Because my then follow-up question would be, what's Fairhaven basically like, just ballpark, I won't hold you to it.
I hate to give a number because I don't want to be inaccurate, but I can find that out, maybe the next meeting come and give you that, or I can email it to you, because we do track, and I could have it broke down as to what was Fairhaven, what was mutual aid.
And the reason I ask is because when you're, like another increase here, and we're up pretty close to 200,000 already, this is getting where I just like to understand, what am I getting for the $200,000 dollars for, if I'm spending a lot of money as a Fairhaven taxpayer,
Yep.
and 50% of the calls are someplace other than Fairhaven, I'm just,
Well, it also, I think, is important to recognize that when the ambulance goes to a call outside of Fairhaven, we're billing your insurance company. So it's potentially bringing some revenue in and can help offset some of the cost to the taxpayers as well. I mean, we don't get paid 100% of all our bills, but when we go to an emergency call in Fairhaven or out of Fairhaven, we of course bill the insurance companies. So, I mean, that is something, but I can get the information as to how many calls we do for what different thing and get that to the board if you like.
I was just trying to my mind, because I'm thinking we're covering a lot of areas. When you travel to Benson, West Haven, you're doing the back, Fairhaven's not very big, yep.
When, like he said, though, we have a mutual aid understanding, right? So even though, a lot of the calls may be outside of Fairhaven, you have to figure all those other rescue squads
That are coming
into
into
Fairhaven.
Sometimes.
So,
That's true.
right.
And
so-
West Haven, Benson, and Hubbardton are our response area, just like Fairhaven is. So they
Yeah,
pay
and again,
as well.
and I know I'm in a minority, but I think that we pay a lot of money for our rescue squad. When I look at what the other towns using Rutland Regional, they aren't anywhere near the 200,000 that we're paying.
Well, the reason is,
Twice as many people and
well,
$35,000, $40,000 in Castleton.
for one thing, it costs a set amount of money to run an ambulance, so whether you roll a tire or not. And you pay for that by going to your calls and the subscriptions and, the non-emergent transfers help, where you call in another crew to cover a transfer or something like that. So that doesn't bring up to the amount it costs to run an ambulance. So the difference is divided amongst the 911 population you serve, gives you the per capita rate. Now Rutland has how many nursing homes? They do a lot of non-emergent transfers, and they also divide the per capita amongst the Rutland City population. as well.
And I'm not finding fault,
Yep.
our rescue squad does an excellent job. But when I have conversations with other towns and everything, and you talk in terms of how do you keep for the taxpayer where you can afford it, and a lot of times the discussion gets back to a regional ambulance, because we're already, how we're responding right now is getting more and more regional, than what it sounds like we're doing in Fairhaven. The only thing we're not getting is subsidized as a regional ambulance service with maybe some help when you're at 65% you were talking about that you're getting paid for. Well, why isn't Montpelier giving us about 20% more than what they do? Because we're truly filling a regional need. So I'm just saying that right now it feels like the cost burden seems to be a little heavy on Fairhaven. That's all. Any other comments?
I have one question. Sean, you said you want to replace the ambulances every 3 years. Now, would the money, just say you have one that's going to be due up this year, you sell one of the old ones, what do you guys do with that money? Do you reinvest it back into a new one that you want to get?
It would be up to our board of directors where that money goes, but typically the money, if you sell an old ambulance, the money would go toward the purchase
Of a new one?
of the new one. Of course, they don't hold their value great, I mean,
No, I was just curious, so you don't have to pay the full price. I was assuming you would put whatever you would get for that ambulance into the new one or whatever else you may need for the department.
and
Or,
we're trying to budget and plan and have a replace, I mean, God forbid that rig breaks down on the way to a call. Or
Totally
worse, when
understand.
you have a patient in the back already. I
Mhm.
mean.
I'm sure it
I don't know if it's
happens.
supposed to not, but at least they have some care, but That's pretty terrifying to think of.
Anything else? Because I see I had 3 items, so I don't want to take all the time up on just the one. And if there's nothing else on rescue squad, you want to talk parade, and then we'll talk spring fling?
Sure, Joe and I have been talking, and historically, the Legion has been involved with planning the parade, and then last year, the rec director tried to do it, and it was never really clear what's going on, who the responsible parties were, so we discussed it, and it looks like if everybody's on the same page, that a representative from the Legion would work with a representative of the town, which I believe would be your rec director, and those 2 people will find a third person, and those 3 people will plan the parade, call the participants, organize it, get everything going for it. And along with that, I've talked about this a few times, but the park, Fairhaven is a really picturesque town. The park is great. I really think we're not doing justice to the town as to what this Memorial Day weekend could be. Right now, the Chamber of Commerce rents out booths or spots at the park, and as far as I know, I don't know what they do with that money. I haven't seen the town benefit very much from that event. I was involved in planning this parade years ago and one of the representatives from the chamber then said that it basically covers the insurance. They made around $800 a year or something like that on it at the time. What I'd like to see is let somebody else do it, like the Shriners. I've been talking to a member of the Shriners. I think their name would bring some value to the event, because people love the Shriners, they want to support the Shriners, and work out an agreement where, you'd have to talk about it and decide what everybody is happy with. But say 50% or 30% or 20% of what's brought in would go into a fund for the following year's parade. And that way we could build a nest egg, we could build up an amount to where you could eventually, it may take 3, 4, or 5 years, hire the Boston Crusaders or the drill team from West Point or something, because these things cost a lot of money, but if you get a big event, you're gonna draw more people in. And that would make the renting the booths in the park more of a value, so more people would do it. I think you would see a snowball effect, and I just think it would be better for the town if we could make this, I think we could make this a lot bigger than we have ever had it.
Question?
I totally agree with you on that. Have you ever thought about possibly talking to the rec and using the ball fields down back as a great big area for like a town picnic day or whatever? There's fields, there's playgrounds, and then something up here, do the parade, do everything up here, then back and forth, because we got this whole area of the town that you could.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, I haven't thought about it, but I just think this park is a wonderful park, and it, years ago, Virgins did a revamped how they did things, and they made that Memorial Day event was like a go-to event in the state, and I think we could do that as well. And of course, there's nothing confirmed, but, because, you'd have to work out the nuts and the bolts of it, but I did talk to a friend of mine that's in the Shriners, and they are interested. And if not, maybe Knights of Columbus, or I just think like the Shriners especially, they have such a name with them that would draw, just that in and of itself, I think would draw people into the event on that weekend.
Chad?
So, I mean, these are great ideas. I think I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, though, right? Like, so the chamber has been doing this event for how long now?
20 some years.
20-something years, right? Like, and in addition to that, there's the car show, and there's other things that the chamber brings to the town. I'm wondering if there's opportunity for at a start conversations around partnership, right? And I think certainly the chamber kind of leading the conversation there. What kind of support can be offered to the chamber and from what organizations? My thinking is more volunteers, more ideas. Can always lead to good things. So I like the ideas and where it's going. It sounds like the starting point is a conversation between different parties. That's my thinking on it.
If I can just add in there, I'm the president of the chamber here now. Took over this last spring. One of the things is that post-COVID and everything, we've lost several of the big draws that we had before. One guy passed away that he had a lot of the recreational things with the games and some rides and stuff that he's passed on suddenly, and the family, his sons didn't want to keep it going, and so that's gone. But your idea of partnering with the Shriners, we would love to work with you on that. Now, as far as making money, the chamber doesn't really make much in the way of money off of it. It mostly goes towards all of the expenses associated with putting it on. I think for the last year we made like maybe $200 total as a profit, if you will. I think we're in the process of trying to recruit more vendors to show up, especially stuff that's going to draw and have kids and bounce houses. And one of the things that's really, really popular are the pony rides. That's been a huge draw, for the kids especially. So, yeah, we would love to have you get the Shriners. If you're part of the Shriners.
No, I'm not in the
Yeah.
Shriners. I know somebody that was, and I just think that we could do so much better there. Like you said, the chamber's not making a lot, and okay, why? What can we do? What can we do to make money? And I just think it's time for no offense intended by any means.
Yeah.
I know the chamber took a beating many years ago. Apparently, it used to be people would join because they could get insurance through there, and then they stopped that ability, so the chamber lost a lot of members.
The Manchester chamber folded because that's where they got most of their money, from doing insurance.
Yeah.
So,
and I just haven't seen anything. I know the chamber does the car show, and that's a draw, but again, I don't mean to offend you by any means.
Oh, no.
But I just haven't seen anything that was done for the town as a result of like I don't know. It's not haven't heard our parade even advertised.
Well, we're not involved in the parade at all, right? So
or that event.
but we do advertise the spring fling.
Right.
And after hearing about the person who used to have some of the kid events and things, Keith, what you saying? Do you know somebody?
Yes. I have my brother-in-law owns a business with bounce houses, dunk tanks. I call them circus tents, the great big tents. I think maybe he'd be very interested. We help him, he helps us. One hand washes the other. I can talk with him, discuss it with him. Before you guys leave, I'll give you my contact info, my email, things like that. Maybe I can get a hold of him. He can sit down and discuss it with you guys, and possibly whoever's in charge of, like the rec director here in town, whoever's in charge of it, and go from there. But I think I have a couple connections that can help you guys out with that. and I know personal people that are in the Shriners that I could speak to within days and be like, hey, this is an idea passed by us in the town of Fairhaven. What do you guys think? I have personal friends that would probably be willing to help out that are Shriners. So just let me know what you guys need or want, and we can try to get that done.
Laura?
These sound like fabulous ideas. I'm the chair of the EDP, and I think all this collaboration sounds wonderful.
It does, and I'm thinking, who can I give my
Right.
vendors to?
I think
Right.
if we even extend the hours a little bit, because currently it's 10 to 2, right? And maybe something like 10 to 4, we can really tie in all the businesses and help support all the businesses that are open and get at them supporting you and the event and just sort of really make it big, because I think it's a wonderful thing. And the longer people are there, the more they're going to participate and fundraise and all of that. So I think we could all really collaborate and work together
I think so too.
and try to help each other out.
And I do like all the farmers markets in southern Vermont. So I know all the vendors.
Manager of the Rutland Farmers Market. So.
I think a lot of this is tied to making the parade better. Even this event, and the only way to do that is more money, and the town doesn't have more money. The Legion already donates a substantial amount, so we gotta find a way to build that, and I think that's, even if it's, like right now, the chamber only makes a little bit, if a percentage of what was rented went toward the following year's parade, well, that might motivate people to get more vendors, to get more, to draw more stuff in. And that way it wouldn't hurt anybody. Well, geez, it isn't a fixed amount, so geez, we lost money because we had to pay this amount for the next year's parade. We'll do it by a percentage. And then, the bigger it is, the more money it's made. If it's small, don't make it.
Exactly. You charge vendors $30, $40 to set up, and they're gonna pay it, because it's cheap. And then you have funds for the next thing.
Get together then to share with them.
Yeah, because I pay like $100 for some events I do. So $30, $40 gonna set up in a park, they're jumping.
So in trying to wrap the discussion up, it sounds like a follow-up with Keith, the economic development, and Mr. Parks would be worthwhile. And then you discuss what you'd like to do, and then we can talk about next steps. But it sounds like a good start.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sean.
Moving, I'm gonna move us on to item 3.
Get some ice.
Get some ice and take care of that from that fall. Meeting with renters for water shutoff. I'm a couple minutes early, but are there any renters? Or what? I'm gonna take that as a no and move on to amendments to the agenda.
I have one amendment, sir. I'd like to propose amending the agenda to have an executive session under 1 VSA 313A1 for attorney-client communication.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we do so.
Second?
I will second that motion.
Sam seconded the motion. We know what we're doing. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Any other amendments to the agenda?
You want Lori's information?
Hearing none, I'm going to move on to item 5, approval of the minutes from October 14th. I'll entertain a motion. Chad wasn't here, so I think I'm not making a motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as read.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Keith. Any errors, omissions, deletions?
Claire, under parking lot, where my comments regarding Castleton and Hubbardton and the SWAC are concerned. So as a point of clarification, Castleton and Hubbardton will not be joining their transfer station operation with Fairhaven. They will be leaving the Rutland County Solid Waste District. They will be joining the SWAC. They will be joining the Solid Waste Alliance communities. They will not be joining our transfer station operations. They will continue to have their own transfer station, which they currently have. Castleton and Hubbardton share one, and that will remain the same. There will just be some administrative functions that will be shared as part of the SWAC, which I, unfortunately, as the newest member of the SWAC, can't speak more specifically to what that looks like, but I did want to clarify that.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes and with that clarification.
That's correct.
All those in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Yes.
About that.
Department head reports.
If you got me, Nate should be here in just a few minutes to talk about his budget, but we'll start with Halloween. So Halloween's on Friday, and I saw a lot of folks on Facebook asking when is trick or treating, and trick or treating in Fairhaven is always 5 to 8. And I actually found an ordinance for trick or treating. I thought, okay, that's was our guiding principle right there. So it's always 5 to 8 in Fairhaven. This year, as everybody knows, we're shutting down most of the center of the village. So just be cognizant of that when you're coming home from work, or if you're trying not to leave. Don't be careful.
May I ask a question, because I do live in that neighborhood?
Okay,
Because I love the idea of.
so we got a thank you from the from the Lumberjack show. They came in and said thank you for letting us use the park.
Before we go in, the question?
It's just a simple question. I live in the neighborhood and I do like the idea of closing the streets. I'm a huge Halloween fan, and so I love it. Just asking, is there going to be, how will that shutting down of the streets work? Like, will there be barriers, or will there be officers that are letting people through who do live there? Like, I'm just thinking about people who maybe work a night shift, or people who are coming home during that period. How do we do that?
We talked in our last meeting about the people who lived there after we shut them down. That the chief was here, and I don't want to misspeak, but didn't he mention there'd be something that they would just move? We're not trying to stop people from going home.
Right, of course.
Right.
So there will be staff or officers who will be making sure
That I wasn't that clear on, because I'm not so sure they'd be staff at because we have a lot of streets that are down.
Right.
It might involve, and don't let me get in too much trouble there, Joe. That's why I know but if you pulled up and no one's staffing that and you're
There's a
going
barrier.
home, you move the
Move
barrier, drive through, put the
through.
barrier back,
Okay.
and go in there. That might have to happen
Yeah.
because we don't have enough.
Because I just see there's a lot of conversation where people are asking, how's that going to work? So it might be good to get out ahead of so people don't argue about it, because things can get negative real fast. Just to get ahead of it and say, here's how it's going to work, and then people know, and it's like, oh, okay.
And just be cautious. When there's a
Yeah.
bunch of people out, don't leave your house and go to the store for a soda, come back home. Oh, I forgot this. Oh, I forgot. Just be cautious.
Right, no,
Don't
I'm
go
just
in and
asking
out
about
100
people who
times, you know.
have to
Yeah.
come and go to
Yeah,
go.
well,
go
the
home.
intent was not to stop people and not be able to go home
Yeah.
after work until after 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
That wasn't the intent.
definitely, I love the idea of trying to make it safer, so not trying.
And that's why we shut it down, is
Yeah.
to try to make it safe so
Yeah.
nobody gets hurt,
Yeah,
nobody gets.
awesome.
So moving back to, we got a nice thank you. I'll go segue right back into you, and that leaves Nate coming to a nice thank you from the Lumberjack.
Yes. The Young Lumberjack Show said thank you for supporting them, and they said they'll be back next year.
Good.
We'll talk about the police department. No police chief tonight, but a couple of his highlights. We had 7 arrests, 104 arrests so far in 2025. Running the numbers, 119 traffic or municipal violations were issued in the last 2 weeks. 62 written warnings were given. No parking violations and 3 car crashes. 0 overweight permits were issued. though we did find a couple of trucks that do need overweight permits, and they will be buying their permits presently. We've completed 12 sets of civilian fingerprints for employment purposes, and that brings that number up to 307 this year.
Questions from the board on the police report?
How many arrests in the 2 weeks?
7.
7.
Yeah, I said 7.
So it's 104 to date.
Okay.
Okay, from the manager's office, we've had a little bit of trouble out on 4th Street with that sewer line. It collapsed, we fixed it. We found another portion that was collapsed. I think they're digging tomorrow.
Over cammering it, well, jetting it, camera it tomorrow.
Okay, so we're looking for that other portion that's damaged tomorrow. Closing Carnarvon, we talked about that. The loan documents, so we have, our loan documents have all been signed for the big water project, and those have been pushed through the bond bank. We should be able to draw down on those funds this week, maybe next week. So that's very positive. The Skyline study is moving forward. We should be expecting, I am expecting a preliminary report from that group tomorrow. I'm going to meet with their staff and their contractor to talk about what's going on site. Crosswalk signs, one of them went up today. Nice job, team. Thank you. I also had to insure those signs, just a heads up to the board. Because they're so expensive, I called and they said, "Oh yeah, make sure we get those on the list." So those are insured, and so is the stuff down at the playground. The containers also needed to be insured, which I just learned about. So that's all taken care of. From the water plant, from the sewer plant to the rec to the water plant, I submitted a $250,000 grant to Bond Bank to replace our filter system in the plant. Those are about 43 years old now. And it's time. They've outlived their useful life, and it's time to replace those. And from our zoning department, the planning commission worked through and approved their PUD and historic zoning changes. So those are all set on their side. Now the Board of Selectmen will have to have a hearing to finally ratify those, much like what we did with the last zoning information.
And PUD for us,
Planned urban development?
urban development or something to that
Urban.
effect? That, okay.
And, okay, so I brought this up before, but I want to get it out there because I really want to do this. So Fairhaven, I got to it too late, but next Halloween, there's a Guinness Book of World Records record for the most people dressed as a ghost in one place. I want to do that. I want to do this next Halloween, so stay with me. About a year from now, we'll get everybody in a bed sheet and we'll be in the park.
To be continued.
I'll be there.
With get your mind. It's going to be very positive.
I spent a lot of years in Mississippi, so.
I know, and that's my report before it goes into the
And
gutter.
I'm just going to reel this all right back
There you
in and move on before any of us get in trouble. That's a good update. Yes.
Does Nate need to report?
Yes, why don't we, Nate, anything you want to, from DPW, want to report on what's going on?
Maintenance, started fall grading, which is a longer process. Been picking at mowing, trying to button up things. We got the sewer to do tomorrow. We'll be winterizing the trailer this week, taking out fountain. This big list and picking at it slowly.
And you've got a brand-new salt shed for those that haven't seen it,
Oh, yeah.
out behind your DPW, that they did a nice job. Rich helping Mr.
Yeah.
Woods there too.
Rich and Doug did, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Big thank you for them.
Where is the new salt shed?
Well, it's right behind our new facility on 792 Airport Road.
Oh, so it's up there.
Yeah.
It's it's a salt shed that we talked about for years doing. It got up to where it was pushing close to $1 million. And we got salt shed in for under 100,000.
Awesome.
Yeah, we
So
came
that
under
was-
budget.
That was pretty good. Nice job. Anything else? Any other questions for Nate? Okay. We're going to move on to no old business, no new business. Budget review for DPW is what the bulk of our work is going to be. Joe, do you want to kind of, do you have any words you want to say before we pass it off to you and Nate to talk?
Yeah, let me cue it up just a little bit, because there's some numbers in here that you probably have questions about. First thing, I got some numbers from Belden to replace the sidewalks for downtown Fairhaven, and that number is in front of you. That number is $367,000. I don't think it should go in the budget, because that's like half of the budget already, but as we move forward and try to improve the community, I didn't know if this is something that the board wanted to put on the ballot or not, but I wanted to get out there during the discussion of Public Works, just to get it on your radar. The next thing I'd like to explain just a little bit about is your Public Works salary lines, right? So I got this document in front of you. It's got a highlighted sheet, a highlighted section on it. Now, this is the most difficult thing that we're going to deal with during budget discussion, because Public Works salaries cut across almost all of the departments, right? So if you look at this, you'll see these salaries go from streets and from summer work and winter work, transfer station, even water and sewer has some salaries in there for Public Works use. This makes it confusing, because when you look at the budget, you say, well, why did this go way up and why did that go way down on the salaries? This year, well, let me start with way up and way down. So what we do is, when we try to, we take the big pot of money of salaries, everybody's money from all the departments for Public Works, and we spread them across those departments. And we spread them across as the average use in those departments turns out to be. So maybe over the last 6 years, summer work was 11% of all the Public Works money. So you get 11% of those salaries in that line. Maybe only 10% of the salaries go to winter work. So you'll see that number be 10%. Sometimes it goes down, other places it goes up. So it all, at the end of the day, what we call that is we're regressing to the mean. We're always trying to come back as close to the average as we can year over year. This year you'll see large increases because we did not account for the union contract in the year we're in, and that was almost 12% increase across the board. Compounded by that, we're talking about next year's budget, that's an additional 2% per union contract, right? So we got an average of 12% for 2025, for 2026, the year we're in, and then 2% moving into next year. So that totals almost 14% increase. You're gonna see some big numbers, and that's because of the union salary increases.
And did we also do where we had a few people that, position structure wise, we were paying them at the low end, and we had to, in this contract, we fixed those and got them closer to the mean?
Yep, absolutely, and it's the same with the police department. Over the years, we see that sometimes our salaries tend to drift downward, and we're in the same labor pool as Rutland or even Middlebury. So we have to compete with skilled labor from around the area. So we brought some people back up to make us more competitive. What that really means is we're back up, but our staff is making what maybe other towns were making last year. Does that make sense? Because we're using a little bit of old data, but yeah, we brought a lot of people back up to make us more competitive in the labor market.
Questions on what Joe just covered from the board? Okay. Nate, anything you want to add? What I thought we'd do on this is do like we normally do. Let's just take and we've got the DPW budget, and I want to go line item by line item and see if you have any questions. So why don't we start with we'll start with 030, and it's the 5110, which is the Public Works Administration and Salary. Any questions or comments in addition to, that's a lot of the explanation you just got from Joe on that, of why that is showing such a large increase.
And you'll see that on a lot of the salary lines.
No comments. My initial comment was, I said, it's the big one here, and I saw that then and said, okay, help me understand that number. But it's a 5-year contract that we did, and we fixed some things, and it's gonna get there. The next one, anything out of the Public Works admin, as I'm coming down through those, is there any other than the next two were the same? It's level overtime, office supplies. I'm gonna move along pretty good. There's 030-5100-21 operating supplies. Any question on that 8% increase on operating supplies? No?
What's included in operating supplies?
So that's, I got a couple notes here. So that's kind of a fixed cost. So we have to pay for this stuff. This is Durfee's boots for our staff that we're required to pay for through the contract. Foley's and Cintas are uniforms. WB Mason, so water and paper and that kind of stuff. And then toilet paper, paper towels, just basic supplies to keep you guys, keep the crew moving.
Is the FY26 number actual or budgeted?
That's the budgeted number. Actuals in 25 was 6,000.
Was 6,000, yeah. And with the new contract, we took the shoe allowance, and we found we were a little short on what they were charging for shoes these days, and that's basically, I think the shoes took the bulk of it.
Yeah, it will.
But I just wanted to, that was a big enough change, I wanted to make sure we all understood it. If there's nothing else under Public Works Admin, I'm gonna go into summer work, which is 030-5110. I'm down to 030-5110-22, repair maintenance supplies, which had a $2,000 increase. And it looked like our actuals for 24 and 25 were 5,000 and 2,000. So our proposed budget of 7,000 on that. What was the logic there on why that repair and maintenance supplies went up? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it took a pretty good jump. I'm just curious what it is that we're.
And what does that consist of? Like tools and things, or?
Nate, you see what we're looking at?
Yeah, I think 5110-22.
Yeah.
Yep. It was like a 40% increase from the 5,000 we had the year before. We brought it up to 7,000. We had a 2,000 more.
That will be a ride range, or it could cover like chainsaws or small engines repair, or any type of repair, even maintenance or paint, or not paint for like roads, because that'd be a different line, but like paint the bodies and stuff like that. It covers like broad.
But are we, the cost of the paint and everything has gone up that much? See, I was just trying to get, I didn't know if, and I don't have the Excel spreadsheet from me, but if some of it's because we're doing more maintenance, we're anticipating doing more maintenance on some of the equipment. I was just looking at the logic of why it increased. Yep.
You said chainsaws. Are you buying new chainsaws, or are you just repairing, like sharpening and just
Well-
getting new chains for the ones that you have? Or
Yeah, like I said, this is like, it covers like a broad thing, but no, we don't buy chainsaws every year. It'd be, like chain brakes or.
I was just curious. That's
No,
all.
it's
I mean,
fine.
it's
No, I didn't bring my other paper, but I had notes myself, but it came out.
And the reason I asked the question is, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find money for, there's some things we aren't funding, like, the initial pass didn't have any money in for economic development. I'm saying $2,000, if we don't have a good reason for going up $2,000, that's $2,000 I'm sitting over here and,
Well, I got like, some of that will cover like the concrete blocks that we got, for anything, like and I put in extra money for redoing the pond for the fountain, because the tub leaks in quite a few areas.
the one in the park.
Yes. There's a plastic tub there for the fountain there, and we got, well, it's pretty much Gorilla tape, we got patching the holes. So that I put in in repairs on the gazebo itself. It's in there, that needs work to be done too.
To add some context, I mean, we're, 4 months into the fiscal year? And we've expended 44, almost 45% of that $5,000 budget that we have for FY '26. So if 6,000 or 7,000 isn't really a stretch if we're gonna look at a 12-month period.
because we're spending over what we had budgeted before, we don't have an actual
Yeah.
for that. Okay.
Yeah.
No, there was, the reason, and the logic was, I was just saying that the reason for going up, and you try to see what you're gonna do differently.
No,
You're gonna buy blocks, you're gonna fix a pond that wasn't in what you normally did last year.
Yeah, well,
In
the pond, or the fountain tub there needs repair, like I said, and like last year, the mulch for the free parking came out of there too.
Okay,
So obviously that's an added expense, it's pretty much yearly to make it, look presentable.
okay. Look, I'm not asking you to change it, I just was curious
No,
why
I'm
it went
just
up.
giving you the
Yep,
notes that I have.
all set, guys?
There's no budget anywhere for park maintenance? Or something that come out of park maintenance? Or put it in it?
You don't have a park maintenance line, no. You have a reserve fund that was created for park maintenance, but a lot of that went to when the recreation committee wanted to buy items for the ball field. All of that money went down there.
All right, we can leave it, we'll see, leave it for now.
I'll leave it for now.
Next line, didn't change, so I've got 03051-22.4, maintenance supply gravel. That, we went from 6,000 to 7,000. We went up another 1,000. We need more, and again, the reason I asked, because 2,000, 1,000, there's $3,000, and you're able to get some money. What gravel, is it the cost of gravel? I was just curious, cost of gravel gone up, or?
Well, it's not just the gravel itself, it's for stone and lining ditching and the water breaks, sewer breaks, when we fill the holes. It's just not like gravel as a term is spreading it on dirt roads and grading. It covers the whole aspect of things, like when we bought, stone for the salt shed itself.
Right, and we didn't have it there.
It all goes underneath that.
Okay,
I'm sorry, did you feel like that answered your question? Okay.
We're also 76% expended so far year to date
Yeah.
on our current budget.
well, look, it was just more of a, the real discussion I see that we're going to have is when we get the next, is 030511056.1 outside road work where we have our paving. And the one we're looking at had it went up by 32.6. It was primarily our paving budget, which was $187,000 for fiscal year '26. And it shows 248,000. We put additional paving in there. That in one line item that made it very difficult in DPW to keep a 3% increase overall because of that. And I'm curious what the rest of you, the board members, feel about, because one of the thoughts, I think, when I talked, Joe, to you, was that extra $65,000 for additional paving. Do we pull that back out of there, keep the 187 that we normally have? And I know it's the 65,000 helps us get Scotch Hill moving, but do you go in an appropriation and ask, because we're gonna ask for a pretty good increase on our tax rate this time, I think.
Well, that's fine, but if we're gonna use it for the roads, let's put it into the roads and make sure that they're getting done in a reasonable amount of time.
Well,
I mean, is that what you're asking or
no,
saying?
what my question is, taking our normal paving budget, 187,000, and adding 61,000 more, we can't just keep adding, or we're going to be, our tax, we go right out of sight.
And that's not
I'm just saying that it may be that people, that paving, the 61,000 is primarily to help us get more work quicker up in, and more of Scotch Hill. If that's the case, do we leave it at 187,000 and put it as an appropriation? Let our taxpayers tell us they want to spend 61. In the past, in March, there was a $50,000. We've done it a couple different times, and the voters have said, yes, I know it's going to cost us more, but we want it. Do we take that 61,000 out, don't put it in the regular budget, and let the folks decide whether that 61,000, 187 is a lot of money for paving.
Well, not to interrupt you, but for reclaiming and paving 4 inches of asphalt is estimated at $150,000 per half mile.
Yeah.
So a half mile road is gonna cost you roughly $150,000.
So off the top of your head, how many miles do we need to have paved?
Well, Scotch Hill right now, there's 1.8 miles left, and you're looking at around a little north of 500,000.
Right. But I'm going, it's,
But to do your complete rotation, so I think there's not all roads gotta be reclaimed, but I think there's 27 miles.
that's,
Blacktop road, but if you start doing the math, we do 150,000 per half mile, your rotation of repaving roads is huge.
and I know you get into the discussion around, sometimes you gotta make the call, do you reclaim the full amount up there, or there's a stretch that's really bad that has to be ground and reclaimed?
Yeah, well,
It
Scotch
is-
Hill itself is all gator backed and, whale backed and stuff like that. You can't pave over that, because you're kind of just wasting money, because if you do a 2-inch overlay, you're gonna be
Right.
shimming 3-inch spots.
You're gonna hear the other part, is, the reason I'm trying to get that 61,000 out of there is because underneath it, if we're gonna spend $248,000 in paving, and then underneath it, the outside ditching, they had 0. Why, you don't wanna be digging it up and you're taking, there was $3,000 there, but we're taking that, and this is 03051-56.2. I'm saying, let's take that 61,000, put it in an appropriation, and then also, if you're gonna spend, we've gotta do some ditching when you
If
pave.
you don't-
If you don't need ditching, why are you paving?
If you don't
You just-
ditch, you no sense spending any money at all on paving. Don't buy any pavement if we're not gonna ditch. If we're not gonna have drainage, you're throwing your money away.
But I am, by the way, I am looking to put some money into that, but I wasn't gonna use any of the 61,000 that I'm asking you as a board about whether to put it in an appropriation and let the taxpayers tell us whether they wanna spend 61,000 versus in the past, they've been pretty good about approving 50,000. We might be, I don't know if we're pushing it, but I'd say my proposal is put it in an appropriation. Further down on this, when you get out of the summer work and winter work, I'm looking at the 030-5140-21.3, which is it's the calcium, I'm probably it's the
Calcium chloride, is that what it is?
calcium chloride. It's taking, instead of regular salt, you're doing the liquid stuff. And I'm saying, take that 8,000 and bring that 4,000 up and put it into, or the 8,000 even, bring it up and put it into ditching. Because if you're gonna spend potentially 248,000, I bet you're gonna need that to do the ditching and everything else that you do before you pave. I don't know how you're gonna pay for that if you don't do it.
Now, when you do the ditching, does the town have, like a screener, you can like recycle all of this, screen it out, reuse it somewhere else, so you don't have to go out and buy, like, you don't have anything, we don't have anything like that where we can just recycle what we're taking out?
The ditching material that comes out of the ditches is
Just no good, it's just
not good.
garbage?
It's basically fill material.
Okay.
It's not, it's sod, it's.
I didn't know if it was something that could be
gravel,
reused for future projects to save some money in the long run.
And the reason, and just, again, so you know why I'm asking to take the 61,000 out. Somewhere, we've got to come up with some money, so further, not just DPW, I know we're talking DPW tonight, but we need to come up with some money for putting 5K back into economic development. Because if we don't have a budget for economic development, we don't have a downtown designation or anything else. It all hinges on having a funding stream. So I'm saying I can't spend it all on paving at the expense of everything else we got. Also, I want some money to put into reserve accounts. We had to zero out to get where this first pass at the overall budget. We had nothing going into any of our reserve accounts. And I'm trying to find at least 20 grand that I can break down and put some money in about 4 different accounts there at this, but to get some money for reserve. Whole point saying, and Joe, you can throw a rope and save me anytime you want. But I'm just saying that it also, when you take that 61,000 out, that huge increase that I see for a 15.9% DPW increase, I just don't see that flying. I mean, we go through there, but I'm not sure I would vote for that if I'm in March. Go ahead.
But the thing with 187,000, like I said, a half mile of road is 150 grand. So we did Scotch Hill this year, it was $6,500 to rent that machine and do shoulder work too. We paid out of that for the asphalt thing. I was told that they wanted to do some shimming on South Main. So
Yep.
that's, at the top of my head, 15 grand, I'll say, I don't know the exact number yet.
Sure.
But so like you're chopping that 187 further and further down, so actual doing road mileage is, you're not doing mileage, you're just doing.
I'm still, what I'm trying to do though, Nate, is say that the 248,000 that you have here, I want you to have 248,000. I just don't want to do, I want to ask for 61,000 to appropriations. And if they say no, then no, we're not going to do the full, well, because we don't have the money for that. But if it passes, you got what you asked for, and I'm only basing it on 2 other times, $50,000 for paving went in March, both passed very easily.
Yeah.
It seems like paving is something we like, and we get supported on. I'm not sure, well, if we put a budget together, because at the end of the day, we also need to pass a budget.
The only thing I gotta think for is like, so Scott Show will call it 2 miles. You know, at that price, it'll take you a little over 4 years to finish it. But then you still got Sheldon Road, Airport Road, like your cyclists.
Oh, yeah, I understood that we didn't do Adams, we didn't do Airport Road because we put the money up on Scotch Hill, which it needed. But I'm saying, we can't just put the blinders on everything like the shimming that has to be done in North Main and just throw all the money on Scotch Hill. We let Scotch Hill go for how many years?
Way too long.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, though, now we gotta pay for it now, though, or else we're keeping the blinders on.
I'm all for, I don't think we've got enough money to finish Scotch Hill in a year. So we have to put a plan together that says, and now it's just a question, is it gonna take us 2 years, 3 years? What's it gonna, go ahead.
So I had a question. I heard a rumor that there was a petition going around to finish Scotch Hill. Did you guys hear this rumor?
I have not.
I wouldn't,
There is.
there may be one, I wouldn't sign it and I wouldn't vote for it.
There's only, that down in Wooden Soldier, there's about 6 signatures on it, it's been sitting there for at least a week.
As a taxpayer, it would
So
drive
it isn't
me out of
really-
town.
I don't think it's,
It's-
So there's.
that's the lowest I've ever seen for signatures in anything.
Exactly.
So
Wouldn't
there's,
fly.
so there's a petition out for that, and then we're asking for another petition for additional 61. Is that what we're looking at?
I believe they won't get enough signatures for that to even
Petition
hit.
is, it's to finish it. Well, there's no figures on what it's gonna take to finish it. So you can't put that on, you can't put that in there anywhere right now. How you gonna, just to finish it? That won't fly.
There's no number on the petition?
No.
There's no dollar number on the petition?
No.
Oh, so that petition
It
is
is, like I said,
okay.
what I'm,
I mean, it's a thought and a good thought.
On the petition, it's 525,000 on the petition.
Okay, so that's a petition.
and
Finish
Again-
Scotch Hill.
You know,
again, that's why I
Didn't see
wouldn't
that.
have my signature wouldn't go on that and I wouldn't vote for it.
but,
Because
it's
we
not the
can't
right
afford
way
it.
to do it. We should somehow find some money to pay these roads.
But you're saying, though,
But the
you
problem,
wanted to put the 61,000 for the taxpayers, but you don't wanna put 500,000 to let the taxpayers vote for it?
I'm saying
that.
I wouldn't sign
Oh, I didn't say
I
that.
wouldn't, I'm saying I wouldn't sign a petition because that kind of money, the average taxpayer in Fairhaven can't afford it. We can't afford it.
No.
You may want it. I have a lot of things I want. Everyone makes decisions
Well, I'm
every
just saying,
day.
though, you want people to vote on the 61,000.
We have done I'm just saying in the past, we have sat here knowing that we had some critical paving. And I think Scotch Hill, don't get me wrong, Scotch Hill's critical paving. I bet if I lived on Airport Road, I'd say that's critical paving. And I live on North Main, that's critical. It's all critical paving.
but can I say just one thing? Here's what's gonna happen. Yes, Scotch Hill, but Scotch Hill went way too long, we know that. We're spending a lot of money to regrind it and reshape it and ditch it. The ditching still needs a little more attention, but we'll get there. But in the meantime, Sheldon Road's falling apart, Airport Road's falling apart, Green Road's falling apart. What are we gonna do? We can't, there just isn't any money.
Right.
And if we don't keep the ditching up, the roads mowed, the brush back, the logs and debris out of the ditches, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. And we can't have 2 guys or 3 guys running around doing everything else in town and not doing the road maintenance.
Joe, you wanted to say something?
I do, because this is the point that this is today, Mr. Greeno, is the day you address these problems. If you want more paving done, as a select board member, you say you want more money in the paving line.
Correct.
If you want more staffing, today you say, I want more salary money.
Correct.
Today is the day to make those decisions.
I hear you.
We can't move on to next week and say, boy, we really need to pave. Because today is the day you put your paving money
You're
together.
100% right.
Okay, so, but
Okay.
if we move on to
Well,
2 weeks from now and we
I'm
say
just
we need to
telling
find
you,
money.
I'm just telling you, this is what's happening, and it's been happening for many, many, many years here in Fairhaven and
It's
everywhere.
just Paving just can't get done without money. It's just.
I know that.
We can't do it
I know
ourselves. So this is our time to shine. If you really want paving done, you have to vote for it today.
And I'm saying, absolutely, you could put all you want right there, and our budget will not pass in March, and I don't wanna, our budget doesn't pass by a whole bunch year over year. If you go back and look at, last year was the best we did on getting votes, but we've been within 20 votes, and I think it was within 8 votes of having a budget down. We come in with the kind of money you're talking in that paving line, that budget's not gonna pass. Especially when we're out spending money, talking about spending money on other things like, because there's some things that need to be done, like the pond and the cement and everything else. But is that more, the roads, the sewers, the water, the sidewalks, those are the critical, those are the critical infrastructure. We gotta do
Well,
those
they are
too.
critical, but, I mean, if we don't raise the budget, then.
But I'm saying,
We're not considering it critical then.
every town fights, all I'm saying is the 61,000 on that outside roadwork for paving, that we have, in the past, we have taken and said, put 50,000 out for an appropriation. I think now's not the time to put 248, and keep this at 15, and when we're all done and we roll it up, we're gonna say, especially when you're saying you want this done by January 6th, we're gonna be sitting here January 6th saying, my God, we're gonna be asking for close to a double-digit increase for the taxpayers. The taxpayers will not stand for that. I don't blame them.
So this might be an opportunity, because paving is it really is important to Fairhaven and Fairhaven residents. Everybody agrees we need to have our roads cleaned up. Is this an opportunity to talk about the 1% option tax again? To try it and say, hey, let's use this money to pave our roads. Then you can really see where that money goes. It goes on those roads that you're driving on every single day. How do we feel about that?
I agree.
Then you can adjust your budget around that.
I'm totally fine with that. But before we get to that, I just want to ask, why is it taking so long to keep the maintenance of all these paved roads that you say need to be paved, or that we know need to be paved? Why is it taking so long? And now here we are looking at, well, we need all this money, but if they were taken care of throughout the years where the ditches are being cleaned, everything else being done, we would be in the situation that we're in.
Have you been to Rutland lately and looked at their streets and everything here? I don't care what
Not
municipality you are, paving, the conversation we're having, they beat each other up all the time because paving, just over in Castleton even, you don't have to look too far.
Is there outside, like, grants, something that could possibly help?
The only thing that saved us this year, we got a $200,000 grant to do Scott Joe roads, a fraction of that one got done.
That we asked for 10 years before we got.
Yeah, so every 10 years we get $200,000.
Yeah.
Or else we would have done literally a half a mile of Scott Joe this year.
Mm-hmm.
That road's 3.5 miles long. So
Can I-
our-
But, go ahead.
So I think we've like infamously kicked the can down the road on a lot of things in this town, right? And we find ourselves in the situation we're in because of past decision making, right? And that predates all of us.
Well, no, I was probably part of
Well, so during the
wasn't.
right. So during the COVID years, right, we kept the budget low to try to fight against inflation and all of the challenges that we were seeing, and we've got to make up for that, right? My thinking is, we have the responsibility of deciding what is important to this town's infrastructure, what's important to the safety and well-being of the residents, and if we put streets and sidewalks and any infrastructure items onto appropriations, we're hoping that the voters are going to understand that responsibility. But at the end of the day, if I'm going into a voting booth and I'm deciding between keeping my taxes low and paving a road that I don't live on, that's an easy decision for me as a voter, right? But for me as a I guess someone working to try to figure out what the best next steps for the town are, I've got to say, hey, we need to invest in infrastructure today. We're not going to tackle all of it, but this is important enough to have whatever increase that calls for. And then it's our job as the select board to say, hey, folks, here's where your money is going to go if we're going to increase taxes at all.
Which I totally agree on. The heart of this town is right through here. I don't go down these secondary roads because I don't live on them, like you just said. I don't live on those roads. But I have to go up over those railroad tracks every night to go home, every day. That's rough. And to come in and out of this town, where do people have to come from? South or north on 22A to get to this town. I think nothing against these side streets, but let's focus here first and then slowly work back. That's just my opinion. You see where I'm getting at with my point?
And one thing that we had, and we still have, there's a paving schedule that looks at every street and everything. Understand all good intentions, because I think, even past decision-making, you agree on a paving schedule, just like we were supposed to do Adams Street in Airport. We said, we're not going to spend the money, we're going to put that money up and get as far as we can. Right decision, I think, because I think what we did well. But understand that probably a little bit tougher to explain to the folks that are still going up and down Adams and Airport here. We have a schedule. We don't have enough money, and I don't think the taxpayers, I know I don't, as a taxpayer, have enough money to fix all the paving in one fell swoop. If you're advocating that instead of the 61,000, then going to 248,000, taking the 187 and bringing it up to a number less than that, or are you saying, no, I want that, put it right in?
I'm saying, what do we want to do as a board? Put it in our budget appropriately. I have no idea what $248,000 is going to get me. What? That's 3/4 of a mile. Right, but where is that going to go?
They've taken that and done that's how you come up with the budget.
Yep.
You've already done the math on how much you're going to do, or that's how that.
Like to do is, even like Sheldon Road, but I'll use Scotch Hill for example. If you're bow magging it, which it needs, road tilling it, it's around 150,000 per half mile.
Mm-hmm.
So in this budget where we have 248,000, what is the plan for that 248,000?
It'd be sinking up on Scotch Hill to try to help.
All Scotch
Like I
Hill.
said, we did a little less than a mile and a half of there. I think it was a mile and a quarter, somewhere around there. And that was 385,000, and 200 was that grant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, like, if we keep that 187, and we got 2 miles left, I mean, a half mile a year, I mean, that's, and we're still letting the other roads go by. And you want shim work heading out of town because it's rough and it does need it, but then you're taking, however much that shim work's gonna be out of the 187,000. Then you're gonna want shoulder work, and the shoulder work came out of the paving budget. That was 6,500. So I mean, the 187 just keeps going down, so you're not you're not like doing a road that's like.
We've already,
down.
and all I'm saying is, we've already, with our contract increases and everything else, we can't take the amount of money that I'm looking at in DPW. That's way too much of an increase overall. So if you want to keep paving, let's go back up and say, okay, where am I going to take 68,000 of other line items that you have and move it around?
I know, but this ain't a wish list, so I mean, this is stuff that day-to-day operations. So.
But with that being said, sorry, Glenn.
Go ahead.
With that money, could you do one of these other roads and get it done and over with? One of the other roads, whether it be Airport Road or Green Road, or the ones that you guys have named off.
Yeah, well, Adams Street we canceled off because of the upgrade of sewer
It was too much
Towards Maine.
going on in
Okay.
one place.
What about the Green Road, I think Glenn mentioned, and Airport Road? How much will it take to get those done?
Airport Road, they'll probably do that. Green Road, I don't have the measurement on, so I can't give you a real.
But would that money take care of Airport Road so that's done and over with and it's off the list?
Yeah, I would feel confident in that, yeah.
So,
But
I see what you're saying,
again,
but then you're just gonna put a
before-
Band-Aid on something.
right,
that's
I mean,
gonna-
we could go and make people on Airport Road happy, but understand, we got a project started that we didn't even do a thing and put a blind eye to again. You've been trying to get a word in there,
I
Lauren?
just have a quick question, because I don't understand anything about paving. But I was told that the state is gonna repave Main Street this year in 2026. So, like the shim on South Main, do you think the state would
No,
do any of that? or
They're
is
doing-
there any
Route
way
4,
that
Capitol
it's-
Hill,
But-
North Main, Prospect to the border.
I just didn't know if the state could help us at all, was my question.
Wishful.
It took them 10 years to give us some money to fix Scotch Hill. I thank them for it.
Yeah.
But if the state's,
Try.
It was.
but the thing like fixing Scotch Hill, to keep bringing that up, though, I mean, say if that road got all done tomorrow, it's less than tear on the plow trucks, you're using less salt. I mean, you're pretty much burning that road off to clean it. When you got 2 to 3 inch swells, your plow is not grabbing that, so therefore you're burning the road.
It takes way more salt. It's way more pollution running into the rivers and streams.
And salt went up about a little over $10 a ton.
There you
this
go.
year, so.
so
So paving, and keeping the paving budget the same is actually falling behind because of the price increase every year
do we
also.
Okay. Move that up to 200,000?
That's,
And the only reason I'm looking at that, because I'm still trying to get that, it's only because I still think the only way you get the money you need for paving is then you would put 50,000 on appropriation to say, would the taxpayers, if you gave us 50,000 more, we could go. I still think
if we
that's a
increase-
proven approach that works.
if we go to 200,000 and then try to do a 50,000 appropriation, you know, it flew before, that's barely keeping up with inflation, really, when you stop and think about the increase in blacktop over the last 3 or 4 years. It's a lot.
So somebody pulled out a 525,000 ballot out now, and you wanna pull out another 50,000?
No,
for brand new paving?
I don't believe they'll get the signatures and that 500,000 will get on the ballot. And if it does, I don't believe it has a prayer of going.
You never know, though.
This is the Scotch Hill ballot that we were referring to earlier at the Wooden Soldier.
Yeah.
500,000?
No,
That's
no,
like what?
it's just 500,000.
20% of our budget?
It's 80% of the
DPW budget. It's a lot of money.
I think that's a what if that I wouldn't even want to
About 3 million.
venture to go there. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, just one thought about, like, where to allocate the paving budget, like which roads. To your point, isn't Airport Road gonna get a lot more wear and tear with with the new DPW, office and the salt shed being up there, like especially during the winter, you're gonna have the plow trucks coming in and out and all that, you don't think so?
Well, I'm just saying, the Armory had heavy trucks going back and forth and everything.
Right.
I don't believe it'll be any more than
Well, it's definitely gonna be more.
when the Armory and the type of equipment they were moving around.
I mean, that tandem load with the plow and stuff, we're definitely gonna be pushing heavyweight across it.
Like, I'm just thinking, like, you would, I can't imagine, because I go up to the Airport Road fairly often, because the dog park's up there. But, yeah, I can't imagine,
And then we're
Okay.
gonna be running tractor trailers up there too.
Yeah.
With salt.
Can I jump in here with a
Go ahead,
suggestion? You've been sitting here playing Russian roulette trying to figure out which gets the most priority. I can appreciate that. I've been where you guys are. Well, and you're talking about Scotch Hill, you're talking about the Green Road, you're talking about, why don't, all of these are residences, right? we're talking about, are paying, the residential person is paying for all of this stuff, like it or not. So why not take each street, whatever, and take the collective property taxes on those streets and see where they fall. Now granted, this is going to be skewed because we got several millionaires. Just going to throw this out the heat. I actually saw a Google on this that said the average income in Fairhaven is over $65,000. Sure it is. Yeah, we should throw that one in there. Well, all I'm saying, it's a way of weighting your priority.
Yep, that's.
And you can rank them. You might be surprised where your most money is coming from. And then you say, okay, does this street need paving or doesn't it?
So with that logic, though,
It's a pretty simple way of doing it.
well, with that logic, we're paving roads with higher incomes first,
Yeah.
right? And then so there's a disparity
That would
with.
give me
That's why I'm
trouble.
saying the disparity. Incidentally, let me tell you this one. One of the things that rankles me is I live on West Street. We get a lot of traffic through that street, and we get a lot of truckers avoiding the scales. I don't know if you know that. And they're breaking down our shoulders. Now, why don't we have a weight limit on that street? With a fine.
Which one?
West Street.
West Street for openers.
I think we could look at that when.
You've
we
got a
review
ton
it.
of traffic coming.
Joe wants to jump
So
in.
as though I appreciate the discussion about tractor trailers on West Street, today's discussion was actually about the budget and paving.
Yep.
So if we want to get,
When we're talking
if we
about-
want to
we're
get out of here
talking
before
about
midnight, we should probably
dollars
focus
on the
on.
backs of the
focus
middle
on-
income
Okay.
before it's
Let me, to your point, let me try to reel us back in. The board, on the outside road work for paving, how do you guys feel about changing that 248 to 200K? I like that approach, so that we can at least cost of paving on it. And keep in our hip pocket, we can decide after if you want, but the $50,000 for an appropriation. You can decide after, no, I don't want to do that. That's okay.
I think it's a step in the right direction,
I-
I really do.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the $50,000 gets approved and the budget went down. That's the way I would see the way I see the voting.
I think, my personal opinion is I think that's the way to go. Because you're accommodating for the part of the increase that you were going to have to, we as taxpayers, we're going to have to understand that if we want anything done in this town, if we want any of the paving done, we're going to have to pay for it. And I know none of us can afford it. But we don't have a choice at this point. So I think increasing it to the 200 and then putting it, the other 50,000 out to the voters, I think is the most logical way to go about it.
And as far as prioritizing, I trust Joe and our DPW
It's
crew.
raising it $13,000 is what it's doing.
Yes,
We can't buy very much blacktop for $13,000. What would that be, buy about what, 4 or 5 loads?
no, you put,
About
it's you need the 50,000 from the appropriation.
$100 a ton for highway work.
The line item, I'm gonna try to move us into the next line item underneath, that's the outside ditching.
Was that leaving that at 200,000?
200,000 is what I,
200,000 for paving? Okay.
Yeah.
and would you be comfortable that we leave it at 200,000 as long as, when we finish tonight, and I know your goal was, when you're done, and I'm going, nah, when we're done with this one here, but then when we look at the whole thing, we could come back and tweak something. I know you don't like that, but I'm not buying into, I gotta leave here tonight with the final on this. I'll have as close to the final as I can, but if we come back and that percentage increase is too high, you're gonna look at everything becomes fair game again, has to. I know you don't like that, Joe, but
Well, that's a
We gotta come up with
risk.
something, we gotta come up with some
That's-
sort of a
Decisions
solution.
have to be made.
That's a risk with level funding, right? Wherever we land, whether it's 187, 200, $0, whatever it is, as long as that budget item is what we feel is best for the town, that's my opinion. Putting it out to an appropriations vote is saying, hey, folks, we want to do this, but we don't want to make the decision on it.
you're talking like a nonprofit now. We have to do not what's just best for the town. What's the best thing we can do that we can afford for the town? And I can't afford just putting all that money in there saying, well, we gotta have it, let's go with it.
And we
Can't
clearly
do that.
can't afford not to do the things we need to do.
We've,
We've done that for so long.
So let's bring up,
Infrastructure and public safety is what we're here for,
Mm-hmm.
and this is infrastructure. Sewer lines are infrastructure, water lines, we've got to keep maintaining them, period.
And I absolutely agree, right? The thing that I'm trying to say is, we clearly can't afford to do all of our infrastructure needs in one swoop, right? We can't do that. What are we looking to do this year? And that's our responsibility to figure out.
and what we were saying on this one right here, Chad and I, is that willing to put 200K into paving this year. We'll ask for an additional 50 and we'll spend it if we get it. But if we don't get it, I'm only willing to spend 200K. I'm not willing to spend more than 200K at this point. That's what I'm saying.
Then why would we put out another 50 for appropriations?
Because that would allow us to get further down the road, and we explain it on town meeting night when they say, what's this 50,000 for appropriations? It gets us finished on Scotch Hill sooner. That's the logic. And if the voters want to say no, that's fine.
it's their right, but what about bringing up Joe's point of the 1%?
We have an opportunity, and I think you're working to put some words around the 1%, and you see the message from the board about the 1%. If the 1% option tax, though, doesn't get the paving done in 2026, understand if we get it approved and we gather the 1% option for a year, if we probably would only have about 100 grand in the bucket. It wouldn't get us there. It still takes time for
But
that.
it's a start.
It is. It's the right in the right
And it's
direction.
something we can fall back on to help us down the road. We can, instead of trying to play catch up, we can try to get ahead of it once we're already caught up.
That's
That's my opinion on that.
That'd be,
That's
that'd be a
something
great
most
use.
towns are going to right now.
most towns already have the 1%. We're the
And they
ones
keep
that
adding-
that
they keep
that
adding
missed
to
the
it.
bus. Yeah.
Because I pay in multiple towns.
But I honestly like the 1% idea. It's just we gotta get it to that point, and then once we are caught up, like I said, then we'll always be ahead, because then we can stay up on things before they just
And
give up.
I'm not. We increased it to 200K this year. There's some big increases in DPW this year anyway. Next year, after this thing is reset, I think you'll be. I won't be sitting here, but someone will be sitting here, and they'll be saying paving. We ought to take advantage of adding. Maybe we can add more than what we did this year and bring paving up again. And that's how we get there. Thinking you're going to get there, even if you're saying 2 to 3 years, good luck with that. I don't think you can afford to get there that quickly. But
So you wanna raise it 15 grand?
To 200.
187 to 200K.
So the showing machine is 6,500 to do it, so, and the price of oil goes up every year for paving. So we're not like gaining anything though. Like, I'm not trying to, well, I mean, it is what it is, but we're not moving forward at all.
we're doing better than we done. This is the highest amount of paving money that we have put in yet. Yes,
That
we-
might be true, but we're falling behind on roads. I mean, you said it before, like Scott Shaw's been taken care of for years. So how do we do that with money and time? And if we're not adding money and looking to do further projects, then how are we?
If you were sitting here, are you paying taxes in the town of Fairhaven?
No.
Pretty easy to spend money when you're not paying taxes in the town of Fairhaven. I'm telling you, I am, and
I am.
you have to pretty well there's a lot of other unknowns out there. We'll get there.
Yeah, but
We just can't get there spending.
That's an unfair statement though, because like, I pay taxes where I live, and that goes to paving, and they raise it. But you're gonna sit there and say, oh, let's do a 1% option tax, and we'll use that, so people are paying regardless.
And I'm saying in our budget,
So, I
there's
mean-
a certain amount we can afford, and all I think we can afford is 200K. Now, I'm only one person. If the majority of you want to take and throw a bunch more money in there, you
What
have
I'm
it.
saying is people are expecting work to be done and roads to be fixed, but you can't fix them with hopes and dreams.
We
Like,
fix
we got lucky, like you said, once every 10 years, we got the $200,000 grant. So this year, we only would have done a half a mile on Scotch Hill. That's not, I mean,
Again, there's choices, and I don't mean to say, hey, there's choices you gotta make. We only have this much money.
I know, but the choices we make now. would
And
affect the future.
I'm not ready to spend it all in DPW.
Yeah, but it's not a good way of thinking of like, well, hopefully the new board member next year will vote for more money.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you've got a 200,000. So here, next year, probably be sitting there at 200,000. Understand, realistically speaking, if what I'm proposing is the $50,000 appropriation, what you really spent was 250. Do I think next year you can afford, when you're sitting here, to put 50,000 more in? Probably not. We just argued quite a bit to come from 187 to 200. But I think you have the ability to go up again. But again, I don't want to argue with you over it. I'm just saying,
No, I'm just stating my point of view on,
yeah,
like me being DPW foreman, and I gotta answer to people that want roads paved and stuff like that. And they want results, but, you know, we're sitting here arguing about paving, which people want paving, but I'm telling them that, no, the board don't want it.
people want sidewalks. There's a lot of things they want.
But it's a necessary need though.
May I
We bought
suggest,
I mean, not being rude, but we bought a tandem for $270,000, and we're driving that thing up there and pounding the piss on it because the road's rougher than hell.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying we gotta miracle and just do it all at once, but I mean, we gotta make more of an effort to.
Okay.
We're spending, like I said, almost $300,000 on one truck. And we're driving up there and pounding on it because the road's rougher than hell.
I don't.
I'm not trying to like argue with you, I'm just stating facts, like this is the way it is. I mean, if you're comfortable in doing that.
I'm not comfortable spending more money than what we said here. Go ahead.
may I suggest that we leave it at the 200 plus the 50 in appropriations at this time? Maybe we can find some other place where we can get a little bit of money to add to it. But we're beating a dead horse at this point.
Roseanne.
That's the obvious on there, because there is no other place to get it from. As a matter of fact, we're going to be squeezing other groups even more.
Somebody's gonna be very unhappy.
Moving on.
So we were at 200,000.
Yes.
I'm hearing, are we at 200,000?
I'd like to see a lot more, but I
There's
just can't
two,
see
are you at 200,000?
Take all we can get, okay?
We have
That's what
3
you got.
groups. So, I know you're not there.
Oh, no,
But
so
we're at 200,000.
The number is fine if we land on that. I think my issue is the procedural piece of kicking something to appropriations. that's just a point of issue that I have.
I know.
Right, 200,000 is an increase. Yeah, it's not enough, but it's affordable
But that's,
potentially.
and I can tell you for some reason or other, I know you don't like the procedural we talked last year. Heck, that's how everybody goes into appropriation to get additional money in this town for some reason or other. And it boggles my mind. I'd love to be where you're describing. That's not the town I live in. I can tell you. But anyway, let's move to the next one here, which is outside ditching, which was 0. I'm telling you, it can't be 0. I don't think. What do you think?
I don't like 0 either. I mean, the whole idea about a decent road is the water runs off it, down the ditches, and away. When it can't run off, down, and out of the way, the blacktop just goes, toot, 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 and pretty soon you got a whole bunch of holes, just like Cedar Street.
Yep.
Because the tractor trailer just worked that water right in because it can't get off. So that's why the drainage is very important.
Why did we arrive at a 0 figure for ditching?
So I was instructed by the board to hit a 3% increase with a focus on paving.
Okay.
So many things took heavy hits.
Okay. But it wasn't because we didn't think we could use money in ditching.
No, I'm pretty sure Nate will. And so, you need ditching, don't you?
Oh, yeah. No, I think Joe was, like he was saying, you're trying to get to the numbers, like, you're gonna have to cut a bunch. If you want that 3%, then, yeah, you're gonna have to cut ditching,
I would like to chime in on ditching.
Sure.
And this is not gonna be a popular opinion with my public works department. But you could put $8,000 or $10,000 in ditching and we could hire somebody to come out with some bucket and scoop it out, scoop those ditches out. At the end of the day, we're still gonna have 2 or 3 of our guys down there with trucks, running back and forth, hauling crap out of there. At that point, it seems foolish to me to pay somebody $10,000 and still have our staff do half of or 3/4 of the work. I stand by a 0 number there. I don't want my staff to have to go down and do the work and then pay somebody else to do the work as well. And I can see that happening.
Have we had any outside ditching done in the past? Because since I've been on the board, I haven't seen any outside ditching.
We've always done.
I can imagine, but
We bought an excavator. Why would you buy an excavator and not do your own
But
ditching?
we do in-house ditching
we do.
when we have time. They're digging graves at the cemetery. They're fooling around with the park. Putting up signs. There's very little time for ditching, and we have no help. So that's gotta change in order for us to get where we wanna get.
I agree, Mr. Greeno, 100%. But what does it look like in reality and function? Am I gonna have 2 guys and 2 trucks and have a local guy with an excavator scooping it out, putting it in our trucks and driving it to our land?
It's what, you gotta have more help.
I
2 guys can't do a road job,
Are you making the assumption that
honestly.
when I saw the ditching, I wasn't looking to outsource the ditching?
no.
I was looking that saying, here's your budget, DPW, and you're going to, what's it gonna cost you to do your ditching? If you're gonna pay to outsource it, you could probably do it cheaper yourself, but it's gonna still cost you, still need some money was the point I was making.
And it seems,
And,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
It seems like everything's coming back to, we need help. How many guys are you down, Nate?
There's just me and 2.
How many more do you need to be a full staff?
4, isn't it?
Well, even to do all the work, you need 2 to 3 more people.
Yeah, but
We're not like highway. We do everything from sewer, water, to digging graves, to park maintenance. It's literally everything you can think of. DIs, we do it all. It's not like
Have you guys been, not to change, but everything leads back to you guys need help? Have anybody applied? Have you guys, I mean, what are we doing to try to get ahead on that part of it?
We haven't had any money for it either.
You gotta put money into it.
Right.
So in a little bit of history that I learned was, as years went on, if somebody left Public Works, budget season would roll up and the board would say, that guy's gone, we don't need him. Bam, there's one guy gone. A couple years go by, guy's gone, budget season rolls up, it's like, well, that guy's gone, bam. And it saves, $50,000 to $100,000 every whack. So it really brings down your budget.
But then it also hurts your workforce and hurts on getting things done.
That's, I'm not disagreeing.
I know, I'm just saying,
that's
But if we were to
That's the way
add,
asinine to think. I mean,
This
it's,
year, luckily it didn't rain, because the two gentlemen at the cemetery, Joe and Gary, helped out tremendously. So, I mean, they drove and everything else. If it wasn't for them guys, I mean, I would have done half the stuff. That added 2 people right there. But luckily, the cemetery wasn't growing, so I was lucky enough for them to come help us.
but this budget is placed on a 4-person DPW. What's the budget placed on?
4-person and then like
See, even though there's 3 there, huh?
5 total with the roundabout.
See, even though there's 3 people there now working with you,
You need
so
2,
the,
including myself, is 3.
the budget's based on paying 5. See, I just didn't want to get to, we're not adding more people to DP. I didn't want anyone stepping out thinking we're adding more people.
but is there room for the 2 more that you need? Is there?
Am I ready to pay $200,000 for 2 more?
Okay, well,
No.
Well, if you want more work done, or if you want the work done in general, then, I mean,
I think that's what it's coming down, and if I could interrupt and waste more of our time. Through
It's good discussion, by the way.
It is, but so through the year, the previous year, moving up into this position that we're at today, we'll sit down and Mr. Greeno, you've said it before. It's like we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do ditching, we need to do tree cutting, we need to do paving, we need to do more. Without staff and without money, you can't do more. So
I totally agree.
like I know you're, and I'm just saying, if the board wants to do more, you have to pay for more. If you're happy with the way it is, then come April, we can't sit around the table and say, well, we need to do this and we need to do that, and because you've already decided this is where you're happy with. So if you want more, you got to pay for more.
And what a lot of people don't understand is 3 days a week, 2 of these DPW guys are sitting there at the dump working. So that's another task that they have to take care of. So there's very little actual road work that gets done. And no fault of those guys, they work hard. But they can't be everywhere. I know this. People gotta understand that.
Okay, so now,
Sorry, I just had to check.
it's good to understand everything, but at the end of the day, we're back here, we're gonna do some paving. There's gonna be some ditch work done. And to jump down into, and the reason I came up with a number like 8,000 is I looked at under winter work. Salt, we showed an increase from 60 to 65,000 for regular salt. That's 030-5140-2110. Okay? And then I saw underneath it that we were going to liquid the brine. There was 8,000 in here for brine. I'm saying, I know I don't think last winter we did it. Did we do any brine last winter?
yeah, we sprayed roads.
But we used, because I had 0 in my budget and 0, I'm just looking at,
Yeah,
so we used the regular salt and made brine.
No, we buy the Pro Melt down there. We were spending salt money to buy that Pro Melt to spray roads. We use that for snow and ice control, and we spray the dirt roads with it too for dust control.
Because I was trying to figure out, when I looked at the reason I looked at the 8,000, I saw 0 was the actual for 23, 24, 25, 26 on the sheet I'm looking at.
Yeah, because that liquid that we were buying, we were taking it out the salt line.
And that's good, and because then I thought I had that explanation for it. So I said, when I asked Joe earlier this week, and I said, okay, then why are we adding 8,000 more? Why are we adding 8,000 more in salt? Well, we had a pretty pretty almost traditional winter last year. We had quite a bit of snow and we had to do quite a bit. So what are we anticipating of why we need 8,000? I don't, take the 65,000 that we have under regular salt, and if you want to go buy the stuff like you have where it's zeroed out, go buy it. I want to take that 8,000 and put it up there for under your ditching. I don't want to take it away from you, but I'm saying, I think it's more realistic that I move it up there. And we did just fine with 60,000. I don't know what it looks like the actual for 25 was 68, so that might have to increase a little. I don't know, you had your other little thing of what they use.
So I think, like last year, I think we used roughly, 650 tons of salt. I don't know the price on it, but right now it's gotten up a little over $10 a ton.
Did you use all that salt up from last year? Did you use every bit of it?
For the most part, yeah.
So I didn't have an actual yet for last year. I'm saying whatever you use, that's the number I have for regular salt. And if you need an extra 2,000 of that 8,000, that's fine. Put it in because I want you to have the right salt. But this is not a year to add more to the salt line. Let's put what's left up under the ditching line.
Well, you had to add more to the salt because of the price increase.
Yeah, and what they added, the $5,000 wasn't enough.
Oh,
That's some pretty expensive salt if it's not the pricing. That doesn't cover price increase.
well, 700 tons, if it's $10 a ton, how much is that?
I don't know, but that's an 8.3% increase. Your salt went up over 8%.
Well, it was 80 something, and now it's almost $100 a ton.
And $7,000.
No, and-
Yeah, 7 grand.
So I'm just trying to understand the numbers, and when I see that, and I'm saying if that 65 needs to be 70, you're saying?
The increase at 700 ton, the increase is $7,000.
Then put
So we go 67.
put 5,000 up there and put 3,000 under ditching, and that way you kept left ditching at the same as you had a year ago in your budget.
That makes sense.
I'm just trying to understand the numbers, man, not trying to be,
No,
Argument.
I get it. So you want to,
you're keeping I'm not taking money away from you. I'm just saying.
Let's get your 3,000 back for ditching.
Yeah, if
Give you 3 grand.
I'm trying to find 3,000 for ditching, and then I'm coming down here saying that this line item of 0305140-21.3 that has been 000 all along. Maybe we'd like to put something in there, but I'm saying this in the year we put it in there. We seem to have worked out okay with that other line item. Let's do it another year. Next year, when we don't have the new contract and the other hits, then we can come and talk about putting something in there. That's all I'm looking for, Nate.
so you want to put 5 grand, raise the salt to 70, and take the 3 grand and put it in ditching?
Yep, that's all I'm proposing.
3 in ditching.
No, I'm looking around. I'm saying, folks, don't let me.
No, like you said, you're not getting rid of anything, you're just
And
keeping
not taking
something
money
the
away
same.
from
That's
you.
all you're doing, you're keeping
I'm
something the
just,
same.
and hopefully we have a good winter. Hopefully we use way less salt on Scotch Hill.
But-
You know,
but last winter was a pretty representative winter, so
And
if we
according-
have one similar to last winter, we should be good.
According to the outlook, it's supposed to be a pretty mild one, but that's the only job you could be wrong all the time is weatherman, so.
So I know I jumped from summer work to winter work, but because the two of them, those are the two areas, the two of them tied together, and you had to talk both of them. Anything,
That liquid that we buy, it should be kind of, I guess you can take it out of the salt, but couldn't we, joke if I jump on this, because we got $8,000 in sand.
Do we have sand from last year? You won't need more sand?
There's a lot of sand down there.
you got tons of sand, you don't need more sand?
Could you take half of that out then?
That's what I was wondering about
Put
the,
the 8,000 back down there?
4,000 out and keep 4,000 for the sand and put 4,000.
Yeah, I hate to zero sand out, but I mean, if he's not gonna use it, why pay? Yeah, I agree, I
You
agree.
at least leave half and take another half and put it somewhere else,
What-
where do you think you
what if
should
we-
use it? Where do you think you could put it? Would be, I'm sorry.
If we,
I think he wants it in liquid salt.
yeah, I want it in the liquid, that's where,
Can we
No, no.
take the 8 grand, turn it into 4, so that everyone's happy and give you 4 into liquid salt? Does that get you at least some? Again, I'm not,
you know, and we're gonna do, or, yeah, that'll work.
and if you needed a little more liquid salt, steal from your 70K that you got for regular salt, and I'm not.
So salt is gonna be 70, sand is gonna be 4, and where are we taking the 3 to put into the ditching?
We took it out of, the original 8 that we took out of
The chloride?
the chloride. So you go back up and now, once you took that out, you're gonna change sand, you said to 4?
Yeah. And
We put 3,000 up in the ditching, and we're going to put 4,000 instead of 8,000. From the sand, we're gonna put the 4,000 back into the liquid.
to keep it at 8,000, right?
Yep. Well, no, it doesn't stay, it's 4K for the, sodium chloride? Yeah,
Is that the CACI? That's the.
Calcium chloride.
calcium chloride.
Okay.
030-5140-21.3.
Yeah.
So the changes it looks like I have, let's see if I can get through this. I think, summarize and see if I'm right. Summer works, we changed the outside road work to 200K from the 248. Ditching, we put 3,000. We came down to regular salt, 03-5140-21.1 to 70K. Sand, we moved down from 8,000 to 4,000, and we put 4,000 back into the calcium chloride.
But my question is, why are we putting anything in sand? We're not gonna use it, and we got a big pile. Do we
I
need
take,
it?
I take that, I'll take that 4,000 and set it right over here towards
I mean,
my,
Put
I
it,
mean,
put it
I don't
pretty
think- we don't need to buy any sand this year, do we, Nate?
No,
big. Okay.
can we zero sand out?
I mean,
I'm looking to you, Joe, because you had some hard turn burn with zeroing out.
It gives me heartburn to, yeah, let's zero it out.
It was zeroed out in 2025, so it's been done before.
Yeah, let's do it again.
From an accounting perspective, why do we tease these out when it's all winter road treatment?
So,
For clarity.
yeah, just to know where your money's being spent on, so
Well,
you
no,
will use more.
But does it limit Nate in where he's spending money?
No, you'll move
We're bottom line budget.
it.
So
You'll move it.
essentially 74,000 for winter road treatment altogether.
So we managed to get 4 grand.
Yeah.
We're only need another 1,000, look like economic development might get their 5,000 back. Okay, anything on summer and winter other than what we just talked about?
God, I hope not.
Man, that was painful, but we got,
This is
I
the
think we
most
got.
difficult one to get through.
Oh,
Everything else.
I'm
you
not saying
can
it's not, it's just,
That's why
I want to help
this is-
Nate and his
this
crew
is
the
why
best
it's
we
the
can,
first one
but
that-
it's
that
hard
we-
to figure
Are
out
you
how we want to
Nate,
do
are
it.
you comfortable with that? I sometimes can get a little pushy, so
no,
you're good. Okay, I'm going to go for Public Works Buildings. Anything anyone wants to talk about there? You're going to notice there was a pretty good increase in buildings. And just for everyone to understand, we haven't, correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, but you're trying to keep, you're moving into a new building and the power and fuel and everything, but we don't just turn the switch off in the old building. There's a certain amount of power and fuel as you're doing this transition that's happening. So if buildings looks a little high, we are trying to do 2 things at once. How am I doing? I'm looking at Joe and Nate to say,
yeah,
How
right
what?
now,
So, mostly right, yes. We will keep the former town garage will remain heated, just so the pipes don't burst and our insurance doesn't go through the roof. But also the police department's moving into that facility with their cars. We have another building, what they call the bus barn, that also has heat. That heat will be terminated, so we won't have heat in that building. So we are cutting at least one building out of the fuel cycle.
So the old town shed is now becoming the storage for the police department's cars?
Correct.
Only in the wintertime or all the time?
No, always. It's easy for them, so their current building, they gotta kind of jockey cars around to get them in and out.
And where is that? Right here.
It's at the bus barn down by Public Works. Yeah, it's a better facility for them, just for the management of their vehicles.
Now, is there any upgrade needed to keep that up and going? Okay.
It's another discussion, another battle down the road.
I shouldn't have said anything, I apologize.
Because we really, it's gonna take probably a couple of years to just figure out just what the true costs are and after this move, because we're in the new building. Is everyone okay with the buildings?
Yeah.
Or any other questions? Public Works equipment.
Yeah, the line 030, 5360, 68, repairs and maintenance. Is that contracted services if we have to have outside repair work done?
It's a little bit of everything, yeah.
I think it's repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, that'd be for,
I got you.
yeah.
So I would imagine, like, if when we're doing our own, it's really that salary and the top two line items there.
Yeah, the one that jumped out at me was up on top at 030 5360-10.1, the equipment overtime. When I looked at the 233.3% increase, it was sitting at, a low number. I know it went from an increase by 2,100. And I asked the question, I think of Joe, when we have a lot of equipment. They're planning on older equipment to work on it, and they're going to use overtime to work on it because of the staffing. I mean, I don't know, Nate, if I'm bungling up the reason for that, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're already 132% of our budget spent so far this year.
But we're spending the money, and it's going to reflect what we're spending already. So, the only thing I ask is, try to keep that overtime to a minimum. Every time I see that, I get a little heartburn. I go, wait a minute, I'm paying time and a half and double time for work. I'm trying to budget for straight time, but I understand it. We have a lot of older equipment, and you can't get the work done during the week and fix the equipment at the same time. So you're trying to turn 3 people in working like 6.
Well, this is the thing. But is it cheaper to pay overtime or have more employees?
Well, when I think of way benefits, there's a big, when he said put a head in and it's 100,000, that's the reason you pay a little overtime. I don't know. Depends on the employee, I guess. You wanted to say something, I could tell.
When do we have the conversation about hiring someone?
Right now.
Or increasing the budget for?
Do we have an open position right now that isn't filled?
We have 2. Yeah.
I don't want to have a conversation about adding additional head until I'm operating at full staff. And how much of this year have we operated at full staff?
Okay, so that conversation we had earlier, that past select boards would year over year, someone would leave and the position would be cut from the budget. That does not include the 2 that are currently unfilled and budgeted for.
No,
is what I'm hearing.
Correct.
Okay.
We just lost an employee like last week.
Right.
So, and I think we may have hired one this week. I'm still waiting.
Which is a good thing. But if you're looking, remember when we were talking about a DPW staff of 5?
Yes.
And before you'd wanna, we can have, if you're saying now, is that you wanna talk about
Well, I just
adding an
keep hearing
additional
this
one.
come up.
I'd wanna-
Rich said, you know, about
I'd wanna look at different
Three people
towns and their
trying to do it.
DPWs and their road crews and how many are working. And it'd be nice, but I mean, I think that's something I don't think we can afford. to add another
Hands
head right
make
now.
light work, so,
Like town polling, I think there's 5 just for the town themselves.
yeah.
Aren't
Then-
you saying there's
then
5
they-
already budgeted for though? I don't understand. If there's 5 budgeted for, can't you just advertise and hire?
We've been doing that
Yeah.
most of the year.
Even at full staff, it's not enough.
It is,
staff.
Oh,
it
yeah,
is
no, I
tough.
get that.
You get someone working and they can go work for V-Trans and make more money. Or the next door, they offer them another $1 an hour and they take the person that, yeah, it's a tougher market.
Rich. Am I missing something?
Is that a question?
Yeah,
We have 2 guys at the dump 3 days a week. And then at least one day they have to go down in between and clean up and whatnot. Am I right?
Yeah.
Fill me in if if I'm
Yeah, buddy will
mistaken.
go down there, the guy that just, left, he went down there and he cleaned up, he worked down there pretty much, I don't know, 70% of the time, I'll say. And he comes with us and he bounced around, roustabout position.
But the thing of it is, they're at transfer station, but that money comes out of the DPW budget.
No, it
But then
doesn't.
it transfers back.
No.
But it's still the same people. So we don't have the people to do the work, is what I'm trying to say.
But I don't want to hire DPW people to work transfer. I think that's why you were shaking your head. The transfer station is,
They have
But
their
that's
own,
what
they have their own
you
pot of
already
they
money.
have their own pot of money and we'll be talking about there.
Correct, but it's the same people.
And if those people, that's why when you're talking about needing to add people now, well, that's maybe because the people that would be working now doing some things, or to your point, are at the transfer station, we gotta work a little bit on that, the other side. But I think it'd be way too premature to talk seriously about adding another DPW head
Let's try to
into
get a
this
full
budget.
staff.
I wanna see full staff and see what I get from a full staff.
Yeah.
And before we may need them,
We definitely need more help. I mean, we work down at the transfer station. I mean, today there was somebody down there from DPW all day.
but,
And there
but
will
if,
be for the next week and a half because one gentleman has, he has to be off. So DPW workers have to be down there now to work.
so if we, again, if your DPW people were actually working DPW,
Yeah, but that's impossible though, because if people take off from the transfer
Remember-
station, we have to.
yeah, but the discussion, I think, rather than hiring more DPW, would be, how do we, is it similar to the
In
police
other
department with some part-timers that when people are gonna be out and everything, you get someone
In other
that,
words,
I don't wanna pay the price
in other
for
words, if
DPW.
we have 3 people dedicated to the highways and byways and wherever for the whole year, so we're gonna have 3 people working on them roads every single day of the year. We do not have that now.
But if
We
you,
can't have it now, the way things are set up.
Now, did you say that transfer station has its own budget?
they do,
Yeah.
we'll be
Yeah,
talking transfer station budget.
If they have that, then why are you sending guys down there to work?
Because when people are out,
So when
we
people
gotta
are out,
operate,
they have to fill in.
they're backup. But there might
Like if
be-
for example, if I work the transfer station down there today, the transfer station budget pays for me being down there. They don't come out of DPW.
They don't have, like per diem people that can go in there and do that, so you're not
No, there's
being
just,
short-staffed on doing what you gotta get done?
Like-
there's just 2 guys down there, and like I said, that one guy, he's gone, and he'll probably be gone for a couple weeks. So a DPW worker has to be down there.
So now it's just, if he's down there, it's just two of you do it. Wow.
Right, and that's where I'd be looking at somewhere, the conversation I'd rather have is a conversation with Joe and you guys around, hey, do we have, like, the people with the summer help that we're billing us element? Instead of your DPW people down there, some of those that can come,
But we're not budgeted for that either, though.
the money's, transfer station is, got a budget for people and manpower. It won't come out of your budget, it should be, I'm just saying, if you want, I think a discussion around how we're gonna staff so that we can keep DPW and DPW, it won't happen all the time, but for the majority of the time, there might be a more cost-effective way of doing it.
Just throwing it out there, we're sitting on a gold mine of adolescent young men that are the working age that don't mind getting their hands dirty right up here to the high school. How about some part-time? I have some boys on the football team that, you know, they love to work, but they wanna make some money.
But I'm sure, don't wanna I'm sure, Joe, you've got thoughts and you've got things but that's a different conversation. I wanna bring us back to, it addressed now would be the time if you wanted to add, I just don't think, right, we gotta see what we're doing when we get everyone there and they're doing it. Don't we? Yeah, I think we do. Are you okay with?
I was just trying to understand what was being proposed. I felt like there was subtext to the comments I was hearing regarding the workforce of DPW that I did not understand or have enough context to understand. So that's all I wanted to clarify.
You got it clarified.
The simple thing that I'm trying to say.
Recording in progress.
You have,
I had to turn it back on, sorry.
you have X number of people, DPW, but they're also filling in at the transfer station. They're down at the cemetery. They're putting signs up downtown. They're not working on the roads, so to speak.
Did you want to propose anything with respect to the budget to resolve that?
We can't afford it.
Okay.
I think the first step to a resolution is hiring for the open positions first.
Yeah.
Right. I'm with Glenn on this one. Once we get those positions filled, and if we take a look later on in the budget season at transfer station, then we can say, hey, how do we keep those guys out of there and bolster transfer station if needed?
I would like to see that, but I don't know how to do it.
Right, well, again, if we hired a full staff and we let Joe do some work with transfer station, I'd love to see at least you go through 26 and see what you have, and this is more of a conversation next budget season. It's not kicking the can down the road, because quite frankly, I don't know what you need, because I haven't seen you with operating at full strength. And I know we have some other things at the transfer station too that cause us to back and forth, but I think we'd just be throwing, the answer is not throw more manpower at something if we've got something fundamentally we want to tweak. That's all. Back to the buildings, are we all set with buildings? Because we're almost through this thing, believe it or not, we're almost through it.
Great.
Public Works equipment, anyone have anything they want to, we talked about the overtime. That really was the big change, and it looked like there was a line item of 030 5360-22, maintenance supplies, that went up 16%, an extra $5,000 from $30,000 to $35,000. The explanation I think I got for that was working with fixing all the old equipment and the overtime and everything, you're going to use more supplies. And that's why the 5,000.
Prices of stuff are.
And that's probably reasonable, that's why.
Oil filters, oil, all that stuff is junk crazy.
They told me to replace a turbo, it's $8,000 on a truck. That blows my mind. Those used to be hundreds of dollars.
Wow, this is true. the new systems with the depth fluid that you have to add, those systems go down, it's a lot of money.
So are we good on equipment? The last, let's see, the last item next to the last item, hydrant replacement. I don't have an issue with any line item, I'm just trying to figure out, it looks like we're not replacing any hydrants, and I think we have hydrants that need replacement. So, how are we doing that? That's all, it was more of my question.
How many do we have that's not working right now? I know you said there was a few, but I don't.
I don't know the total. There's a couple, but it's. I don't think it's double digits. I think it's in the single digits.
And
Can we effectively carry out public safety tasks with those hydrants down?
Yes.
Okay.
so
I mean,
we're,
they should be fixed. Don't get me wrong.
What's
Which
the
we have
cost to
been
fix
picking up.
those? What's the cost to fix those?
Nate said I think you said $3,400 for a replacement. We have had
For one?
for one. We have had success just fixing some of the hydrants, which we did earlier this year.
Well, we have $4,000 left over, we can replace one.
I got 4 on order right now.
Joe, quick question. Any of those fire hydrants, are they in the downtown area that would be?
I would have to get a list, but no, I don't think they are.
Okay,
We
just
just did
curious.
we did a few big projects down there in the last few years.
Okay. thanks.
because it looked like, okay. And that was, because it was, the last budget had 25,000. If you're saying that 25,000, 3,000 apiece went out, was money that we still can buy, we're just not adding more to it at 3,000 apiece, that gives you money to work with, I'm okay, if that, and that's what it sounds like?
Yeah, so well, currently there's $25K in our current budget that they can use to buy some.
You can buy some hydrants, so it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, I bought 4 of them.
There you go. You might be able to buy like.
That's the
6
4 you need to be replaced, right?
There's,
Oh,
well, right now, so we got 2 different brands of hydrants in town. We got Mueller's and Corey's. The Corey's are old, they were bought used years ago. The town of Fairhaven bought them. They got them installed, and they work, but they're not functional. So back in the day, the town used to do like 1 to 3 a year, and we haven't done it forever. So last year, we put it in the budget to start doing that process again, to start changing them and having a program. So that's where that comes in.
Okay. But you're good,
So you've ordered 4 out of this year's budget?
out of that
That's coming.
25,
But next year, we won't buy any at all? Is that what we're saying?
that's what this is saying.
And that's my proposal, Mr. Greeno. That's what I did.
and did you say you have those already? Or do
No,
you?
they're.
Oh, okay, I thought you
So
said you
we'll be
had.
able to do at least 4 this next summer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nate, if you buy a new
I'm okay with
hydrant,
that.
what's the lifespan of it? How many years? Anybody know?
Not really.
Okay.
The top of my head.
The only reason I'm asking this kind of question is because for the planning commission and the economic development committee, we've got to work on a 5-year strategic plan, and so it would be helpful.
That makes sense,
You
I
know,
guess.
stuff like that, you know? But anyway, thank you.
No problem.
Now, the last item is the debt management one. And I just wanted to bring it up, that's the one that, it looks like good news, the first 2 line items, we're getting equipment paid off pretty good. But it's now showing that our bond payment, loan payment is showing up in there, is that it?
It is. And that's $50K with $2,300-ish in interest payment. Now, that's me using a 30-year loan and then dividing it and then adding interest to it. So that's not the actual number they gave me, but that's a rough estimate.
Yeah. So that was just in case you were looking at that saying, geez, there's a 39, almost a 40% increase on the debt management. What is that? Oh, that's the new DPW garage, that's the payment coming out, and it'll be that one-time.
So that's normal then, correct?
Well, it'll be that one-time blip. Next
Okay.
year, budget season, you'll be sitting here, And that won't be that big percentage increase, because it's now, that payment's just part of
All right, yeah.
how we're operating. Put all that together, what is the new, I'm just curious with the changes we had,
It didn't go down.
because you were looking to be a final,
I mean, you took $4,000 out, so I mean, it didn't bring it down that much.
we took 48,000 out of the roadside work.
Oh, that's right, you took 48.
I would like to think that increase,
52K total.
that 15%
That'll work.
increase should be down somewhere 6, 7, or when you take that out, what, it should have brought us to something I have a little less heartburn with when I look at that.
Can I bring it back to you at the next meeting?
You can.
Or I'll send it to the board let me calculate it so I don't mess this up.
Because, right, and I don't want, I probably shouldn't have swagged out the number I did, but I think it would have brought it down.
So altogether, we took out $52,000 out of the budget. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's $4,000 I want us all to keep in mind that we took out of here towards the $5,000. I gotta find another 1,000 somewhere here to get economic development back in line, but we're getting there. Good.
Nice job, guys.
I think.
That was really the hardest one.
Nate, thank you, and Chad, good, always good discussing things with you here.
I will make updates and send it to the board, if not tomorrow, the day after.
Don't hurry to see that again.
Okay, item 11, 2 minutes for public comment. Neil?
Yeah, I'll preface this way, this is just something I stumbled on going to check on a bill that I had with the company that's involved in this. And lo and behold, they said, I noticed you're a veteran. I said, yeah. And they said, well, are you aware of our AUG assistance program? I said, what are you talking about? She proceeded to tell me the Green Mountain Power has had this for better than 3 years. And what it amounts to is that any residential customer in their territory, let's face it, everybody in Fairhaven is, in one fashion or whatever, can apply for it. And it's designed for so-called low-income communities. Well, Fairhaven is noted for being low income. So everything seems to fit here. So, in effect, what they do is they will, you fill out this form, and I've got the forms that I'll give you. I'm not gonna keep this thing secret, for sure. And they multiply your income by 185%. And then that is, goes up against what they call Vermont Fuel and Utilities Program Income Guidelines, which I understand is federal, based upon the number of persons in your household. And it gives a dollar figure for each level. And if you go below that, or at it, your bill has a 25% discount. Now that's big stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And I submit that Fairhaven is in a great shape because basically I'm asking you folks, simply put, all you would have to do is make this available through mailings, through whatever, to apply for it. They even include an envelope. When's the last time you got a bill or whatever, apply for anything, it gave you a self-stamped envelope? And I'll hand this to you, I was astounded. And it actually was the one that brought it around was AARP. And yet, I've got friends on AARP. Well, yeah, Joe, there you are, you guys all. And not a single one of them have ever heard of this system. And I asked my financial planner, I said, what the hell's going on? Why doesn't Green Mountain Power push it? Because she had told me we have 300,000 customers in Vermont. And this person said, well, think about it. Why would they want to lose 25% revenue? Makes sense. You know, so that's my whole yard, that's why I'm here.
Thank you for sharing that. And I was wondering too, wouldn't Slate Valley Cares and other, I'm trying to think of how you get it in the hands of people who really need them the most, but thank you.
Yeah, incidentally, Danny Roberts knows all about this.
Okay.
So I covered my bases, so I said, you know, you two can get together and just put it in a mailing.
She did make a post on Facebook
Pardon?
on her page for the town clerk of Fairhaven, and she did
Yeah,
post it, so
yeah.
you told her about it, she did put it on, just so you know.
Yeah, no, she said she's
I
more
saw
than,
that, like,
she was
yesterday or
astounded, she had
today.
never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other public comment? Laura?
Thank you for that. That's really good to know, actually.
Yeah,
It's not part of my
hell,
public
you know,
comment, but
It's like a windfall.
yeah, Efficiency Vermont did the same thing for me. I qualified for low.
It's the same type of
Yeah,
program.
like a free
You're right.
split heater. I couldn't even believe it. And
Yeah.
it was completely free, so great
Yeah,
programs.
sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My
Thank
pleasure.
all of you. I appreciate your time. You're all volunteers. We're volunteers. Thank you, Planning Commission and EDDP. Does this work actually? Or do you want to do it? Hello?
Yes.
It's for the recording.
Hi. So 2 minutes. I'm very acutely aware that I have 2 minutes, and I thought what I would do is just to the 3 people who aren't involved with the EDDP, so you Keith, you Sam, and you Rich, because Glenn, you know all of this, and so do you, Chad, as a member, as well as Joe. This is not any type of detailed information, but tonight's discussion, as most budget discussions are about how we spend money, where we find money, and how it affects the taxpayers. The EDDP is about generating money for the town, increasing traffic in terms of visitors to come and spend money and then leave, and attracting people to open businesses here, attracting people to move here and therefore have jobs, and all of that adds revenue and economy to our town. All this is a very bland list of everything we've accomplished in 1 year. At any time in the next month, because our meeting is November 25th, which is Thanksgiving week, and I'm sure everyone's really busy. So out of consideration and respect for your time, I didn't want to blindside you with this, because no one really appreciates being blindsided, as we know, Joe and everyone else. So this is the list with no other information, and if you have questions, please feel more than welcome to contact me or Ann or Mike, who's on here. Thank you, Mike, with any extra information. And then on the 25th, we will have details about not only what we've accomplished, but what we're looking to accomplish in the new fiscal year, and why we'll be asking for $7,500 in our budget. So, any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, you're very
You did
welcome.
well in your 2 minutes, thank
All
you.
right, I know how to be efficient, Glenn. So this is the list, and that's just for your records, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, Rose, yes, go ahead.
I just want to say, yesterday and today, I was watching out my window at work, and I'm hearing da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they're out there, and they're making holes, and they're putting in these lovely crosswalk signs. I am looking very forward to using them for the first time tomorrow morning.
I did it tonight.
Wow, aren't you
How did-
special?
How did it
Yeah,
work?
how'd they work out?
Good.
Push the button.
Yep, and the lights came on and Did people stop?
Was it enough time to walk from point A to point B? The lights were flashing and it flashed for enough time? Okay, well, you could set the time, okay.
What's the time that, is it preset or?
No, I could
Well,
set the
I
time.
hurry because when I'm in a crosswalk, it's like knees to chest. Move along.
I'll let you know tomorrow morning,
Yeah, let me know how that goes.
because I'm a lot slower than she is.
Take
I
your
didn't
time,
notice
stroll.
them. Are they between the park and?
Should be at the
Cloud
bus
nine.
stop. Cloud 9, the bus stop.
Gotcha.
That
I'll
one
have to
is,
look when I go home. I'll have to look for them.
Nate, thank you.
We got more to do.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
okay, folks, moving right along.
Can I say something for
Oh.
the 2 minutes?
Sure you can.
About the economic development budget. So in our downtown partnership application,
Or sorry,
It
downtown
clear,
designation.
yeah, downtown designation, it clearly states that we must have a budget. And then in our new paperwork we just got, it still states we must have funding from our town. So that's where the 7,500 is what we need.
So.
It is a requirement.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so, I'm Deborah Liacona, I'm the vice chair of the Plan Commission. I was on the EDDP for a while there. But we've been working on an application for downtown designation for Fairhaven now. We've been making a concerted effort in the Plan Commission for a year, but I mean, you know, in the EDC, I mean, I think it crossed your desk, was it in 2000? I think that was when we first started talking about it. So it's been a really, you know, it's been a long process of getting to a point where we might be wanting to put in an application with the state for downtown designation. It can do a lot for this town. And I know that Chad, Glenn, Sam, Joe, you're all really familiar with it, but, you know, Keith and, no, Sam and Rich, yeah. No, I know Sam's on the planning commission now, he's familiar with it. But it is something that could do a lot for the town. And Harry Holloway, the representative from the state, who will be making, you know, really involved in the decision to either give the town of Fairhaven downtown designation or not, it's very clear that the EDDP, it's the organization that implements basically a 5-year strategic plan to really improve the downtown. And it's a condition of that application to be successful for it to have a budget. And this document that Ann was referencing, basically the guidance we've been given is that the budget really should increase slightly year on year. And I know that's really tough when you, like, I mean, we've been listening to how, you know, you're trying to figure out how to cover everything the town needs. And I know, you know, sometimes, you know, people can look at some of the things that go on downtown and say, well, you know, is this as important as paving? Is it as important as roads? But as, you know, as Laura was saying, if we can do things that bring more people to the downtown, you know, that's really important. And the downtown designation can open up grants, funding, it can cut red tape for development, it can make it easier for property owners to put in apartments on the third floors of their buildings and stuff like that. Like, it can provide housing that's needed. So, you know, when you think about that little bit of money, $7,500, it could have such a huge impact in the long run, you know, if it helps us get over that finish line to get that designation from the state. So anyway, just wanted to put in my 2 cents, because the planning commission, we put in hours and hours and hours and hours of work trying to get that application across the finish line. So,
Thank you.
But thank you for all you do. I know working out a budget is tough, you know, we see that clearly.
Do I still have Mike online? I want to make sure I didn't forget.
He left.
Oh, he left. I was going to give Mike a chance to talk.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Any other I think I got everyone, good. Parking lot, anything in the parking lot, gang? We're good and move right on. Board roundtable, Sam? Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Folks, you're good? Keith?
I have one question. The land in between Shaw's and Max, is that privately owned, or who owns that? Does anybody?
I think that's the Allen, the land where they did the water project in Washington, between Shaw's
Shaw's and
parking
Max,
lot.
is that owned by the town?
I believe that's still Allen's, isn't it?
I think that's Allen's.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I mean, it looks like a great place to add, I'm a firm believer in how,
Isn't that all part of Shaw's?
if
All the same person.
somebody's,
owns the
I mean,
Shaw's.
I don't know how they go about it, but
And I've heard that's been sold, but I'm not sure.
it'd be nice to see something go up in there, whether it be a business or, I'm a firm big thing of putting up a 60 or 70 room hotel and right off the major interstate. We have a truck stop open 24 hours. We're
Tax
7 minutes from the college. It'll bring in revenue.
Tax base and revenue for the town.
It's just a way to make money for the town to eventually, hopefully, lower taxes.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rich?
I couldn't have said it better myself. Other than that, I have nothing.
I'll just comment that I really appreciate our disagreements and our compromise. In different parts of the state, in different states, at the federal level, the political climate is just so contentious. And I love the fact that we can disagree on some things and still, at the end of the day, be okay with one another. So I appreciate it. Yeah. That's all I have.
Have to work together.
And I only have one, and that is wishing everyone a good, happy Halloween, and hope the rain holds off so that we can, when the little ones out there going around. But they'll have them all.
It's gonna be
I
tough.
think it's gonna be kind of wet.
Yeah.
Because some of, we are gonna get a little bit of the hurricane now.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Let us not forget that the new bagel shop opens tomorrow.
Hey, bagel,
That's right.
that's right.
And, that they are open, they're extending their hours on Halloween. They're normally gonna be open from 7 to 5, they're going to be open also from 5 to 8 on Halloween, providing free hot chocolate to kids 12 and under in costume. And there'll be items for the adults to buy. And so I just wanted to point that out, that
Good.
we got that going.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, let's review the financial reports. How about,
Just a minute. Go.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the payroll warrant of $42,512.87.
do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Keith. All those in favor? Aye.
Make a motion to approve the general warrant of $535,337.79.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
And by the way, that's a big number, but that's a Markowski payment is a big chunk of it.
Yeah, of the 530, 430 was the water dig.
And is that our last payment on that project?
There might be just a little bit more, but that project's come to a close and we're under budget by a little bit. I'm waiting for the final numbers.
Good. All those in favor? Aye.
Our checking account sits at negative $130,933.90.
And we have more money coming in.
Yeah, if we remember, it was negative 500, I think, last time, so
Yes, but-
we requisitioned some money, and then the 1.2 million should be coming in, hopefully soon.
I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion to go into executive session from Rich under 1 VSA 313A1 for attorney-client communication, seconded by Keith. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we are going into executive session.